he felt obligated to fight him. You know what I mean? Like, you killed my mom.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was really fighting Cap. It was he wanted to kill the Winter Soldier. Like, you killed my mom, you killed my dad. Yeah. And Cap is like, this is my best friend, and he didn't mean to do it.
The whole thing is that the Marvel characters are supposed to be.
And that fight is one of the best fights.
Well, the fight scene
between
is a really good fight scene.
Cap and
it's
Tony,
a fun fight
and
scene.
That fight scene is so good.
But I guess I expect reasonable people to be reasonable, and they just.
Am
I pushing it?
Not when you killed my mom, bro.
You killed my father.
No, he killed both.
Killed
both of my parents, and also I think it had to do with, and I think they tried to put this at the beginning of the movie when Tony was showing off that tech, or making fun of that tech or whatever.
Okay.
And he let everybody into the what happened between him and his father just before his father went off on that business trip, or his parents went off and he never saw him again. So he was like, him and his dad were like in a fight,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's probably some, I think that's supposed to be some of it, is he has all this regret and he's really mad at himself.
And so he just threw a big old tantrum and destroyed an airport.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. Whatever.
Tony?
Well, just who? No.
Tony. Well,
yeah, Tony destroyed the airport.
Tony. Oh, yeah, but Tony didn't really
helped
go out there to destroy the airport. He was out there to arrest Cap at that point,
which was going to entail destroying the airport. I mean, come on. He thought that was going to go down cool. I mean, oh, here you go. Take me in, sir. Like, come on.
Hey, I'm not saying Tony was on the right side of that debacle.
He's on the right side. The far right.
Yes, the conservative side. He was on the conservative side. Are we ready to talk about football now?
Yeah. We've been live for a little
They're listening to us talk
They
about
don't
Marvel.
just
Great.
argue about football, guys. They argue about Marvel too.
Welcome to week 12, everybody. Cheers.
Hello.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. Sorry, I forgot to check our weekly bets here. Skowronek versus which Jefferson is that?
It was the Rams one. You guys were arguing
Van
who.
Jefferson. That's right.
Van
Van
Jefferson.
You guys were arguing who they were going to
They
utilize.
both sucked. Huh?
Yeah,
we're gonna have to look
probably.
this one up.
Yes.
I'm like, Skowronek was horrible.
You know what? And I was like, what was our bet from last week? I just really didn't remember what it was.
And then Sutton versus Devontae Smith, like another one we're gonna have to look up because.
Devontae Smith won that one.
Did he?
Oh yeah, Sutton was horrible. I
right.
think Sutton was like 2 PPR points last week, 2.5 or 3.
Oh, I didn't realize he was that bad.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and that was the week before. I'm sorry. It's been like a long 10 days.
Right. It does seem like the time has changed here. Let's see.
I'm looking at Jefferson.
Okay.
Today's podcast is brought to you by
He had 5 targets last week.
Elysian Dank Dust Indian Pale Ale.
Sutton had 13.
Some of that dank.
He had 13 points.
Yeah.
That dank dust.
Okay, so yeah, that was the week before. Skowronek had 4 targets.
Yeah. And what did Jefferson have?
5.
You always beat me by 1. You suck.
It's kind of true, actually. He like barely beats you.
The cash lineup
isn't that-
today,
isn't
he
that
beat
the-
me by 1.
Isn't that the opposite of suck? Oh, also, Devontae Smith was 13.8 points.
Oh my God. So I lost by 0.8 on that one.
So you can drink twice for sucking twice.
So I lost
How
two.
much can you suck at fantasy
I
football?
lost
Seriously.
2 shots by a total of 1.8. Cool. Totally deserved.
Listen,
He beat me last week.
just get better. Get better.
Comes down to the fractions, people.
Oh my God, I crushed you this week.
You crushed me. When I win by like 30. When you win, you win by like 1. But I'm just saying. All right, I'm taking it.
Oh man,
Wow.
good week. It was a good week in fantasy football.
Man, I can't believe I lost both of those.
I can't believe they were that close.
Yeah. Like,
Hey, you lost to him by like a point in DraftKings too.
yep. Yeah. 1 1/4
Yeah,
points,
that's-
I think.
that's-
Talking about like barely losing, you barely lost. Like you got 75.5,
Hey, but
and he got
that's 3 consecutive weeks in DraftKings, and you did lose to me by 30 last week.
Wait, what? Oh, he's lost 3 consecutive weeks.
To
Oh,
me,
I see. Yeah.
No, he's lost twice to you.
3 to me. I won 2
Oh, 2.
consecutive.
You won 2 in a row.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm just saying he's.
Ray won that last week.
Oh,
You don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying I'm the winner of the week. I'm saying I
Gotcha.
defeated him.
Gotcha.
And and I am because like we have a standing bet that goes every single week. You know, the loser pays for dinner.
Yeah, I was just a little slow on remembering that.
So anyway, should we slide into our Homer moment now that we've all enjoyed?
Go ahead,
Ryan's,
man. You get
Ryan's
to
stuff
enjoy
on?
yours, man. You got to enjoy yesterday.
Oh, was it just yesterday?
It was. Huh?
Yeah, how quickly they forget.
Let me see.
These two selected the Vikings to beat the Cowboys on Sunday.
And I'll let you in on a little secret. Anytime the Cowboys play anybody that has a decent chance of beating them, I'll pick the other team just because I enjoy picking
Outstanding.
against the Cowboys. It just
Outstanding.
makes me feel good when they lose.
You're gonna be feeling bad this year.
We'll see. We'll see.
They look.
No, and you guys
they look
like,
awesome.
You guys look like a really solid playoff team. I mean, I think you're probably the 3rd best team in the NFC.
We're no worse than the 2nd best team in the NFC for sure. Like the Eagles really aren't very good. They should have lost last week again. The Colts missed a field goal at the end of that game.
So you think it's Niners, Cowboys, and then Eagles?
Oh, obviously I don't. Obviously I think it's Cowboys, Niners,
okay.
and then Eagles. However,
But you can see-
I'm totally fine with the Eagles winning the division and the Cowboys having to play the 49ers in California for the championship because then I get to go.
Nice.
So, because that'll be a thing, and also the Cowboys kicked off their last dynasty with an NFC Championship win in San Francisco. So it would just be nice to do it again 30 years later, and it is exactly 30 years later. In case you didn't know.
And I tell you what, that would be one heck of a game. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I think it would be an outstanding football game. Yeah.
What are the Cowboys sitting at right now? The record
8-3.
8-3.
Yeah. Their tight ends are so hard to differentiate. They're all 4 of those guys are really good.
The Cowboys?
The Cowboys.
Yeah, well, there's one that kicked my ass yesterday.
Dalton Schultz. Yeah. Oh, I was laughing. I was laughing so hard at that. Like you've been having some interesting luck in that particular league this year, sir. It's
Dude, I'm looking at that. And
But hey, he has. But I'm playing against Hawkinson and Thielen, so I have little sympathy for you. So, but really quickly, Dalton Schultz only had 4 targets in the game, so it wasn't like he had a monstrous game. Like it was a lot.
he only
of
had 4
points.
targets. What, 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, 30 yards too. Yeah, yes. It was like something like 4 targets, 31 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the thing is CeeDee Lamb set up both of those touchdowns. And they tried to get him the ball at least one of the times to get him the touchdown. Anyway, CeeDee Lamb is really the takeaway from the game. He's just a monster. Like he looks awesome.
He's finally taken over that alpha role.
Yeah, really. And
I haven't watched a lot of Cowboys this year, and so I'm curious. Like for next year,
It's-
is CD going to be a top 5, top 6 pick in the receivers?
Oh, absolutely. And like what I would say right now is I earlier in the year I was offered a trade. I was offered CD for Debo, and I wish I had done that deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm now looking back at it, but
Dak's just going to him in all of the important times during the game.
yeah.
Like big plays, like you can just kind of expect that he's looking for CeeDee Lamb now, and he's getting 10+ targets, and nobody's done that since Dak has been there. No one has done that. No one's done that since Dez and Tony did it in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's been hard to get more than 9. So yeah. Anyway, CeeDee Lamb, monster. Like he's top 5, no worse than top 10 receiver for the rest of the season for sure. Tony Pollard looks pretty tired, but Zeke doesn't. Zeke looks awesome.
Yep. Zeke did look good yesterday.
And yeah, Mike Parsons in that defense, just just doing stuff again.
How is Parsons doing? He was hurt earlier.
He had 2
right?
sacks yesterday.
Okay, so he's what was the injury? Do you happen to know? Or?
Oh, he's had a lower back injury
Okay.
all year long. Like
something he has
it
to
was
work
like
through.
week 2 or week 3. Like not a herniated disc or a slip disc, but he's got some sort of a strain going on in his lower back, and they've been managing his snaps all season.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but yeah, he has not been playing.
Whenever a
very
star
high
like that has an injury, I pay attention. You know what I mean? Defense, it doesn't matter because
He's doing what he's doing at like 85%.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been 100% most of the season. So yeah,
Oh.
he's a really, really special player.
All right. As far as the Steelers go, I mean, not much has changed right now. I mean, we're going through our growing pains. That defense looks really tough, except for the cornerbacks. The cornerbacks, we've got one hurt.
Yeah,
right
they got
now, I
toasted
think.
pretty good.
They did get toasted, but I tell you what, we are a different team with T.J. Watt in there. The defense is going to have some really good games before the
They
year's
still
through
produce
here.
points fantasy wise
Yeah.
in most leagues because they
get
still
the sacks.
and turnovers, still produce sacks and turnovers.
Absolutely.
Because sacks produce turnovers.
Yeah, so even on the bad weeks, they're scoring you 7 points. You know, so that's absolutely not bad. You know, everything comes down to Kenny Pickett, and he's going through his growing pains. You know, I mean, one play he looks like, oh, you know, maybe he is the next good big
but-
thing, and then the next play he looks like Zach Wilson, and
But
then-
they're not like thinking about switching him, are they?
no, not at all.
Yeah. So what about the Jalen Warren situation?
Well, Warren is, I believe, projected to be out this week.
Yeah, what happened with his injury? I didn't get to watch the game.
You know, I didn't. There wasn't a lot of attention paid to it during the game because you know he's the backup and Harris was doing so well. So they didn't like put a lot towards it. But honestly, I just saw that he was going to be out this week, and that's kind of what made my decisions. I haven't looked deep into Warren.
You think that's going to keep going on? Najee's going to keep having big games?
If he keeps like this the last 2 weeks, it looks like he's had more juice than before. It's one of those things that, you know, is he getting healed up from the the foot injury?
He looks pretty good. There was a run where I assumed it was a Jalen Warren highlight because
Right.
they've been talking about how spry he looks. And it was, that was Najee.
Oh,
that was
that was
Najee's,
Najee, yeah.
Najee's touchdown run. He looked really good
Yeah.
on his touchdown run.
Yeah, I like to yell Najee at the TV, Najee, whenever he has a great play at home, and kids hate it, but that's my thing. And for so many weeks, I just haven't been doing that. You know what I mean? And then this last week, like just constantly, Najee, it was great. So of course we still lost, but anyway.
As could
we're
have been
improving.
predicted,
Whatever.
by those Bengals who just continue to take steps forward.
Yeah, no, that was a tough matchup, and they're definitely they're hitting their stride. So we'll see how the Bengals do. I don't think they're going to make a run like last year, but they'll make it to the playoffs.
I think the Bengals are pretty good. Injuries always play a big factor, but the Ravens just don't. The Ravens don't look very good to me. The Ravens' offense looks dysfunctional.
But yet they have a really easy schedule coming up, and so
I agree.
I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs, and they might be the
They might win the division too
Exactly.
because of the head start that they got.
Yep.
With the,
I
but
think you're
they
right.
both have good schedules down the stretch, so I expect both of them to make the playoffs. What about Rams house?
I was just excited to see Bryce Perkins finally play.
Like him?
I wish I would have saw more of him. They only let
You're
him throw
gonna.
the ball like 3 times. I
He's
think.
going to start this weekend,
There you go. We're playing against
which is
Chiefs.
why everybody's so
Yeah.
excited to start the Chiefs defense.
Hey, well, from what I saw from him, he's going to try to get first downs with his legs. Like if he doesn't see it, he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think he's an interesting start in tournaments.
Other than that,
Yeah, I wouldn't want to start him in cash, but starting him in a tournament, I think that's an interesting play. So should we jump into the games, or do you?
I think
wanna-
so.
you-
I
you
mean,
don't-
I don't know if
is there anything else going on? You guys have some more. So I want to ask you what you think, I guess, about the Rams running back situation. Like,
it's the same as it's ever been, really. I mean, I know they got rid of Henderson or whatever, but none of them are really doing anything. I want to see fresh legs, fresh bodies. I saw you made a move for Cam Akers today.
I picked them both up, but because it seems like I have some faith that Sean McVay is going to get some things worked out by the end of the year.
Yeah,
and that one of those guys will be valuable. I have no idea which one of them it's going to be.
Well, and I'm starting to think, how valuable is he going to be? You know what I mean? Because if it's Cam Akers, I don't see a ton of value there. That's a very low end number 2 running back, more like mid round or mid number 3, like somebody maybe you want to flex but don't really want to. Like, that's not really who I'm looking to grab right now and hoping, crossing my fingers for going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? I want better prospects. Like I want a Rashad White or something like that. That's where I'm
agreed.
Going to sprint.
Totally agreed. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to get the Rams fan perspective on that.
I'm hoping that he starts to try to find something else, right? So, as far as I'm hoping he's not going to have Cam Akers touch the ball anymore too much this season. You know,
so my expectation is that
go see some new legs.
That one of them is going to end up with 18 to 20 touches, and the other one's going to end up with 8 to 10 touches. I'm just not sure if it's going to be Kyren Williams or Cam Akers. Right now, it's Cam, but Kyren Williams is just getting worked into the offense. They seem to be giving him a little bit more work. I want to see where that goes. So. Yeah. I've been holding him in a lot of places. I have him in Dynasty. I have him in
I was too.
I
finally gave up on him in a few of my leagues here in the last few weeks, but made that determination that even if he does
the floor just fell out
there,
with the Rams offense, and it just became a really unattractive.
If he's in there with a timeshare and a bad offense, I'm just not that interested.
And traditionally, Sean McVay hasn't had a timeshare though. It really seems like he's not been in love with either of the running backs
so long. Yeah.
But they do like Kyren Williams, and he hasn't had a whole lot, in my opinion, hasn't had enough time to build up into the offense to get the opportunity to to have had that opportunity where they take a real good look at him. That game where it's like they give him 20 plus carries. Yeah. I feel like that's coming. Like he's gonna have a game where he has somewhere around 20 carries, and you're gonna figure out either it's gonna be like an 18 for 40 game and no scores, or he's gonna have like 22 carries, 100 plus yards and a touchdown. And it's like, hey, there's the guy.
Here's our guy. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean that's like the dream scenario. I think, and I don't see that happening at all with Cam. I don't. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, let's get started on games. We get a really good one to start out with.
All right.
Whoa, baby.
Do I even have the right one pulled up? Let's see here.
Let's ride.
Broncos at Panthers. Let me pull it up.
Mm-hmm. Who does it show who the bye teams are this week? I don't even remember. I'm sorry. No, none this week. Byes are next week.
No byes.
That's right.
Yeah, just we had 3 teams play already.
Yeah.
Everybody's working on Thanksgiving.
What's up, Manuel? So first game up, we got Denver at Panthers. Denver's at -1. The over-under is at 36. And you're betting on the Broncos, you're at -120. And if you're betting on the Panthers, you're at +100. Go.
Super unexciting game all around. Fantasy-wise, real-life-wise. Like, what are you watching this game for?
The return of Sam Darnold.
Oh, God.
Is he coming back that game?
So start your Denver D.
Sam Darnold. Yeah, the Denver D would be more exciting to start if they weren't on the road. Silly things just kind of happen on the road, and I don't expect the Broncos offense to do anything. The Panthers played really good against the Ravens offense last week. Now I said the Ravens offense looked dysfunctional, and that's true. But the Panthers also did play tough defense and held them to 13 points. I think, despite the fact that Baker Mayfield couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything on offense. It was some ineptitude at its finest.
Hence Sam Darnold.
Hence Sam's return. And it's funny because to be honest with you, I'm a little afraid of what Sam Darnold and DJ Moore are going to do because of the sheer number of places where I've either dropped DJ Moore or decided to bench him, or I've traded him to my opponent this week.
I wouldn't worry too much.
No,
especially against that Denver D. Like, say that is a good Denver D for Darnold to be going.
I'm just saying it's interesting. It's interesting. If you're in a spot and you're just you haven't started DJ Moore in a while, you could look at him this weekend. Sam Darnold's certainly going to.
You could run Sutton out there. You're not going to be excited about him, but he is averaging 12 to 13 points. So
This is a game full of just unexciting, but you could
Latavius
start him.
Murray, same thing.
Deontay
You
Foreman
can
on the other
start him.
side.
God, I wouldn't want to start Deontay Foreman. I really wouldn't, because Deontay is one of those guys that he either hits or misses, and when he misses,
Isn't he
misses
just like
bad.
isn't he just like a baby Derrick Henry?
Very baby?
Because his hits are like 25 to 30 instead of 45,
Right.
and then his misses are like 3 and
2,
4
yeah.
instead of like 8, because
Right.
that's Derrick Henry's misses.
Yeah,
It's
no, that's
like-
a good way to put it, I guess.
So, but
yeah.
and he does. It's funny because they do have the similar running style, like very
Yeah.
straight up but powerful, and he is fast, and it's interesting. Like he does, I think, have the ability to just break a run, but it's unlikely against the Denver defense.
I agree.
I don't like the idea of starting him this weekend either. I'm trying to avoid just everything in this game except for betting on the under.
Yep. Yeah. I have Foreman in Dynasty League, and I'm benching him. So, all right. So,
I'm playing against him in Dynasty, so we'll
feel good about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
So who we thinking is going to win this game?
Oh God, we got to pick.
Oh, I don't think that's hard. But for me, it's the Broncos.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna take the home team.
Which was
Cool.
That's Talk about a 50-50 coin
You're
flip that
betting
I don't
me.
want to bet on.
I meant to pick the Pat.
You know what? No, I apologize. Hold on. I forgot about Darnold.
I was like,
Darnold,
I was going to
Darnold,
say,
yeah,
it is
Darnold,
like it's
no.
very
I can't bet on Darnold.
It's very posh.
Give me the Broncos.
to bet against Russ Wilson in 2022, but when Sam Darnold's on the other
Yeah,
side, really?
yeah.
Come on, enough's enough.
You're right.
I'm
You're
picking
right.
the Panthers solely because
He's trying to catch up to
no,
Ryan now, so he's just going to dig himself a deeper hole. Instead.
no, I meant to pick the Broncos from the get go. I just put it in my name in the wrong spot. Just because I feel like the Broncos are a more rested team. Other than that, it's a coin flip.
So you're going to pick that. Those are the reasons you're going to pick the Panthers.
No, the Broncos. I meant to pick the Broncos. I just put myself in the wrong spot.
So we're all picking the Broncos.
Yes.
We got there, folks.
Okay,
we
now-
got there.
We got the next team
people
up
can't
here.
see how funny this is to us because like we're watching Ray. Like Ray puts all this stuff into the computer, and so he's like typing on either side of a screen, and he's going back and forth on deleting names and retyping names. and it ends up with just all on one side.
After 5 retypes.
They can certainly see this. They can see what's going on the spreadsheet.
Oh, perfect! I didn't know they
Yeah,
could see.
yeah,
that.
they could.
I wasn't
They
sure
could.
how open. Okay, good. So they know how bad.
That's all
Brian
they
is.
see. They see that, us three.
Okay, cool.
And then when we start, actually, I need to switch to camera views because it's supposed to be more so the Excel sheet right now, so they can see what we're doing.
Makes sense.
So we're ready to talk about the next game, which
yes.
is actually my favorite game of the weekend
Oh,
fantasy
your
football
favorite.
ways.
Okay. Yeah,
fantasy
no, this
football
is-
ways. It's my favorite game.
All right,
It's a
next
fun one.
up, we got the Bucks at the Browns. Bucks at -3.5, over under at 42. If you're betting on the Bucks, you're at -180, and if you're betting on the Browns, +155. I was supposed to start that right there.
I wish we had come up with an Amari Cooper bet last week because I was super in on the idea of it being neutral ground and therefore it being okay to start Amari. And I think you were still in on it being a road game.
I'm glad we didn't bet on that. Like, that doesn't count. Come on, man. What kind of analysis is that?
But I did. No, it's and I said, well, I mean, I avoided it because I started him. So, anyway, Amari Cooper has just been awesome. So you got to start him. Donovan Peoples-Jones also is just getting it done every week now, and with Deshaun Watson coming back, I think you kind of got to have him on your roster. It's probably too late in a lot of spots, but
he might make it into your flex position certain weeks. And, yeah.
I think he might be better than that. Like, think about how good Will Fuller was, alongside DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah, but he's
the
not
weeks
Will
where
Fuller.
Will Fuller, and hear me out. Will Fuller, when Will Fuller wasn't hurt, was awesome. You looked forward to those times. Where okay, Will Fuller's going to play, start him,
Right.
right? And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, when Deshaun Watson, gets to town, is going to be similar, except for he just doesn't get hurt. So it's just gonna you're just gonna get the awesome, because he's proven to be durable. He's a big body receiver, and you have Amari Cooper on the other side who's just going to demand a lot of coverage. So I think the Browns are the Browns suffered too many losses. Remember, I think we talked at the beginning of the season. I said I think they needed to be 4-6, 5-6, something like that.
Well, and the hilarious thing is they should be 5-5.
Yes,
They lost 2 games that were.
They blew the game to the Jets.
We're 20 points down in the fourth quarter, something stupid. There were 2 games that were just absolutely ridiculous. What the F losses.
Yeah, so it's a little sad for Cleveland fans, but
because they should be in the playoff hunt, but they're not. No,
that's what you get for buying in on Deshaun Watson. The curse,
the curse of Voldemort. Yeah,
Masagi curse.
It's hard for me to talk too much because I picked up Voldemort in our league, and I'm kind of hoping that he might pull me into the playoffs. There, we'll see.
But no. I don't think so.
We'll see.
I don't know.
I might stick with Jimmy G.
It's going to be hard. He really needs to come out and do something to get that preseason start, or the. I don't know if you saw the couple of plays he played in preseason, but he looked bad. He looked really bad. He looked really rusty already.
Yeah.
So I'm not excited about him jumping into December game action. But anyway, we talked a lot about the Browns when the other side of the.
Let's finish talking about the Browns then, because you got to talk about Chubb, and you got to talk about Hunt.
He's just going to start him.
You're going to start Chubb, but you're not excited about it in this matchup. You have to temper expectations in this matchup.
So we used to start Kareem Hunt in games where we expected the Browns to need to score points and be down, but with Brissett as the quarterback, that just hasn't been the case this year.
Yep. So don't start.
Kareem Hunt has not been doing the Kareem Hunt thing this year, so he's difficult to start. It's hard to hard to predict because it's hard to predict when he's going to score.
Okay,
and
now we can go.
And then Njoku. It's if you're going to make me talk about Nick Chubb, which I didn't think there was reason to do, then you should talk about David Njoku, because David Njoku is probably not on everybody's radar, and he should be, because he's been, when he's been active, he's been the second highest targeted player in the offense, and more efficient than Donovan Peoples-Jones with his targets.
And that's going to change once Watson takes over. So maybe this will be his last hurrah.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Watson was pretty good with his tight ends. He just never had a good one. Remember we talked about that? In Houston, he had 2 of them, and you just never knew which one was going to score. But I think so. On the other side, I think we know Leonard Fournette's not going to play this weekend, so start Rachaad White everywhere.
Yes.
I think Rachaad White is a top 10 play. I told this guy earlier that there's a spot where I'm the team's 9-2, so I'm not in desperation mode or anything like that. And I'm going to start Rachaad White over Derrick Henry because I believe that it's a better start.
That's over my head, man. I wouldn't go there.
I'm just saying that's how highly I believe.
But I do believe in Rachaad White this week quite a bit. So you know what I mean.
No Leonard Fournette. He's I think the Browns will force them to score points. More than Seattle did, because if you look back at that game against Seattle, White didn't have any catches, but neither did Fournette. They had 36 combined rushing attempts, the two of them, and I don't think that's going to happen again this game.
But it did seem like they found something last week.
Sure, but now Fournette's hurt, so there's no way they can run the ball 30 plus times.
Right, but it seemed like Brady just kind of had an aha moment to me in that game. Just I need to freaking run the ball more. And Fournette just wasn't getting it done with 2.9 rush. Mm-hmm. So with White coming in there and really just all of a sudden hitting it for 4
I think the offense could get unlocked.
I think Rachaad White unlocks that offense. And I tell you what, I have the courage of my convictions here. I had trouble doing it, and I have this crazy league. All kinds of special rules I don't want to get into, but basically I had to drop somebody to pick up Rachaad White, and I dropped Fournette.
This is before Fournette was listed as out.
Yeah, as out. So that's how I feel about the situation. Yeah. That's what I saw with my eyeballs last week, and I went with it.
And like I said, I feel strongly enough about the situation too that I'm willing to start Rachaad White over Derrick Henry in this particular scenario, because I think that Rachaad White is in a scenario where they're going to score a lot of points. They're going to be up, and he's the only one who's going to get work. And then with the Derrick Henry situation, I think they're going to be in a situation where they're down to the Bengals. And in a lot of times in those games, Derrick Henry, doesn't put up Derrick Henry numbers. So
So what about wide receivers for Tampa? I mean, you're starting Evans, you're starting Godwin. And
I'm
just
not
move on.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Julio Jones yet.
Oh no,
I
God,
don't think
no.
so.
No.
He's flashed a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey,
And-
he has put together a better 2022 than he did at 2021 in Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know how much that says, but
I'm just saying. And he's looked good when he's been active. So he could be a weapon for them down the stretch, but at fantasy football, just stay away from him.
Absolutely. So who do we like here?
Tampa was going to crush Cleveland.
Yeah,
this
I think
game.
so,
Like I think I shouldn't say crush because I don't think it's one of those like 31-10 games. I think the final score is something like 41 to 20.
Oh, wow.
Something
You
like
think
that.
it's going to be like that?
I
I'm
think
thinking more like 30 to 20, 31,
I think Tampa Bay
21, but
scores
yeah.
40 points in this game.
Okay. Whoa. And if so, then like I say, Cleveland is a run funnel defense.
Cleveland's
So
been giving it up to everybody.
I'm just saying, Rashad White's going to have a heck of a day if they score 40 points.
I told you I'm starting him over Derrick Henry on the team.
Next up, Ravens at Jaguars. Ravens at -3.5. The over/under at 43.5. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think I did. If you're betting on the Ravens, -180, and if you're betting on the Jags, +155.
All right. This looks like a lopsided game right here. I mean,
Does it?
It does.
Does it? Because
I
Carolina was in that game against Baltimore last week all the way until like the 6-minute mark.
That's true. I mean, did you really feel like they needed to be, though? Like, I mean, that was like some misplays and like, I just.
Okay, here's what I think about Baltimore. Mm-hmm. I think that they are capable of beating anybody and capable of losing to anybody.
Okay, you think they're one of those teams? Okay,
They
I
just
gotcha.
because they made mistakes. They were just mental mistakes right away in the game last week. Right off the start. And they had a Lamar Jackson 40-yard touchdown run wiped off the board in the fourth quarter. Well, I don't think it was a touchdown run. I think he was just inside the 5 or something like that. And they pick him up off the ground and he has to march all the way. He has to march all the way
Take
back.
the walk of shame.
Yeah, because from a holding penalty and then 2 plays later they're punting the ball.
Yeah.
And this is against Carolina, and it doesn't make any sense. They kind of seem to lack focus. So I think I don't think they're going to lose this game. It's hard for me to pick them to lose this game. I'm not going to do that, but they could. It wouldn't shock me.
And you can mark us all down for the Ravens there. Fantasy wise, I mean you're starting
Fantasy
Lamar,
wise,
even though
you're starting Lamar,
hasn't
but
been-
you're starting Lamar probably.
No,
But
well,
he hasn't done anything in the
unless you
last
have-
8.
well.
To me, he hasn't done anything in the last 8 weeks to warrant being called a auto start quarterback.
And that's what I was saying. So you're going to start him unless you have somebody like Justin Fields that you picked up.
You
And
could
then
have
I'm
picked up Justin Fields.
Justin Fields this week
You
is a
say that,
big
but
question
you
mark.
say that, but in the last month, Lamar Jackson
Oh no.
or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh gosh, probably pretty close to even. Yeah.
Garoppolo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. But
And over the last 6 weeks, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers.
really,
Really. It's he's got a couple of weeks where he's in an 6-point per passing touchdown league. He has a couple of weeks where he's under 17 points. They've been really he's had some really, really shaky starts. And in the game against the Panthers, I think it was the second drive of the game, they're moving the ball, they're inside the 30, and he gets picked off by a defensive lineman. And this the guy he was not some freak of an athlete defensive lineman. He looks like
it wasn't T.J. Watt doing it. Huh?
no, it was Fat Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't catch the guy's name that caught the ball. All I could think of when I watched it happen was has Lamar Jackson never played Madden? I know he's played Madden. I know these guys, the younger generation of players, they play a lot of Madden, and it's that is the simplest thing in Madden that you have a crossing route. You you have to wait for the crosser to go across the defensive tackle, who's gonna jump up and put his hands up and block the ball, or you could be throwing into a window where a linebacker has dropped into coverage in that window. So you're waiting for him to clear across that window, and then once he gets past that defensive tackle, either the defensive end has pinched down and you're Lamar Jackson and you can run outside, or the defensive end has gone wide and there's a large window for you to complete that now wide open crossing route. And if he just waits half a second to make this pass attempt, it's not an interception. It's maybe a touchdown to Mark Andrews, because Mark Andrews is already open. He's already got like a yard of separation. If I was a Ravens fan, I would have been furious watching that, because that's just stupid. It was a really, really, really bad interception.
It is kind of hilarious that they're 7-3 and leading the division by a good amount, and they have looked bad. You know what I mean? Like they don't look like they're going to go very far.
You know what it is?
They're going to make the playoffs.
They don't have a running back right now. This is like the first time
Agreed.
I can think of in Lamar Jackson's tenure that like whoever the running back was, whether it was Gus or whether it was J.K. Dobbins or who I forget who they had before then. I think it was he's in New Orleans now. That's gonna come to me in a second. It bothers me. Anyway, they've had a running back that they could lean on and give the ball to 20 plus times, and he was going to punish the defense and keep the defense honest for all of their little rollouts and stuff like that.
And they just haven't had that in a while.
And it's not, because Lamar Jackson, like drop back passer, that's a losing proposition.
So maybe when Gus Edwards like really gets back in that backfield and healthy, which might be this week, but probably next week. But if he's back there, I think that that takes that offense up a step. But we'll see how big a step that is.
I'm gonna wait until I see it.
Yeah, no, I would too.
I'm not going to predict the week where Gus Edwards has 20 plus.
But I definitely want Gus Edwards on my bench. That's for sure. I want him on my bench just in case.
Based on what I've seen so far this year out of the Ravens offense, I'm not doing that.
You're not even stashing Gus Edwards? Mm-mm. Oh, that's a mistake.
No, I feel like there's better opportunities, because like you could have been stashing Rachaad White, you could have been stashing Isaiah Pacheco, and I would rather have a handcuff at this point in the season. I'd rather have a handcuff for my guy.
Anyway,
than be betting on that to happen.
I disagree there, because I think Gus can have some big games at the end of the year.
I'm just saying, because
he's one of those guys I want to just see.
That hasn't happened at all yet. And
he hasn't had the opportunity yet,
dude. We're we're in week 12. Right. Like, this is like to me that is not any different than talking about the Kyren Williams situation, because there's been no running back that has done anything special. Like, there was no like.
But Kyren has got to see the field a little bit, and Gus hasn't.
They've seen this field about the same.
Gus had one game and he played pretty well in that game, and then he got hurt again. Agreed.
He got hurt again.
Yeah.
I'm just
You're making my point for me.
What do you mean I'm making your point for you? Your point was that you think it's a good idea to stash him in week 12.
Exactly.
I don't think
he's
so.
In there,
I don't think it's a good week. I don't think it's a good time to be stashing guys like that. Like, to me, you have to be like desperate for something to happen. Like, you're like, for me. So the only reason that I'm willing to stash or to on my roster right now in the league that we share together, I have Kyren Williams and Cam Akers on my roster, because I'm looking for something to happen for a third running back. I have Dameon Pierce and I have Zeke. I'm more invested at receiver. I'm worried about something happening to those guys, and I kind of am like looking for something to happen. But like, if you're in a position where you're getting ready for the playoffs, like I'm not excited about that. Like that, I'm not excited about that at all. That's not where I want to be.
And it all depends on where your team is. And we spent too much time on this, but I'm just saying that Gus Edwards could be a really good flex option come playoff time if things go right. And if he doesn't, then he just never makes your lineup, and he just clogged up your bench for a few weeks. So.
Yeah, see, and I would rather. Who did the Jaguars just trade for? Who they pick up behind Travis Etienne now? There's somebody behind him now. They just picked up Darrell Henderson. I think I would rather have Darrell Henderson if I'm say I'm a Travis Etienne owner,
Oh.
I would rather spend a roster spot on Darrell Henderson than see what's going to happen with Gus.
That's a huge mistake in my opinion. Huge. So,
Why?
all right, let's move on. No. We've spent way too much time on that. Ray over here is getting lost. He's like, "What's going on?"
I'm setting the timer back up.
We all picked the Ravens on that one. We have strong disagreements about the Ravens and their running back future. I based on what I've seen, I'd stay away. I would completely stay away from the Ravens running backs. And I'm
I'm trying to think of a way to bet on that.
I'm
one.
weary about what's going on with Lamar Jackson. Like I don't like Lamar Jackson. Like his schedule, it looks so good, but then you have to remember that's for passing quarterbacks.
So if he looks bad on this run, that's going to show you something.
Yes, I think that he could.
And I think it's more just strength of schedule.
The only guy on the Ravens that interests me at this point is Mark Andrews. Because even when Lamar is bad, Mark Andrews is still good.
Okay. Stash Gus Edwards. Stash Gus. Just saying. All right, so moving on.
Next up, we have Houston Texans at Dolphins.
Oh, God, we've got to move on to this? All right.
Texans is plus 14. Over under at 47. If you're betting
Fantasy wise,
on.
this is more exciting than the last game.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
important-
You're right.
There's no Raheem Mostert
Yep,
this
that's
week.
a big
so,
thing.
So Jeff Wilson is going to wreck house against Houston because Houston is just the worst defense against running backs. So
Yeah, so Jeff Wilson, start him up. Get him into your lineup somehow.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got him, start him. This is the time. Which, I mean, honestly, it's funny because it makes me worry a little bit about our two star wide receivers here. Is because that's what's been going on against Houston is that the wide receivers don't usually have a good day because they don't have to.
interesting. So Jeff Wilson just joined the team.
Right.
In the 2 weeks since Jeff Wilson joined the team, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill have had their targets go down in consecutive weeks.
Okay.
That's one of those things that over the course of a season could be a blip. You know, we could be 4 weeks from now and they both had 10 targets in every game. That could happen. But it doesn't. It seems like they're spreading the ball around a little more, and they're able to do that because
they've
they're
got
more
that
successful on the ground.
Yep.
And that's been since Jeff Wilson joined the team.
Makes sense.
Now, Raheem Mostert's going to miss the game. Does that mean they're going to throw the ball more? Don't know because they might not have to.
Because they can only give the ball to Jeff so many times.
I'm still like you're still going to start Tyreek Hill. You're still going to start Jalen
and
Waddle.
happily start
But
them.
Jeff Wilson is the play of the game for sure.
Play of the game for sure. And then you're going to play Pierce on the other side, and that's about it.
He's had a couple of down weeks, and I think he's going to have a bounce back week. He's due for one that's going to happen because he still looks great.
He does look good.
I don't think that he's hit a rookie wall. He still looks awesome.
I wouldn't want to start Cooks, but you could if you really, really had
Nico
to.
Collins, maybe.
I'm just saying I'm about to drop Cooks on my team, so that's how I feel about him.
I don't want to start Brandon Cooks
Yeah, no, I'm going to drop him this week. I've
Damian
got
Pierce
Hollywood coming back from
for the
IR,
Texans, and that's it.
Bye Cooks.
So does that mean are we all on the Dolphins in this game?
Oh yeah, how could you not be? And honestly, that's about it. We don't really need to say anything else about that game, do we? Wow, look at that!
I mean, we
quick
could talk.
game.
We could talk about how Tua might be worse as a passer than Lamar Jackson. It's just that he's getting away with it because he's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to throw the ball to,
Yeah,
and they're so open that his bad passes just
Yeah, this is live.
it doesn't matter.
I answered that all hell late too. I'm sorry about that, dude.
is this live 20 minutes later? Sure is. And please, if you guys are listening out there, we love questions. We will definitely take a break and answer some questions, some start-sit questions, some pickup questions. Like I say, we're here for that. So if you got any questions, send them to us.
We're totally into it.
All right, moving on.
Are we? We moving on? We're
Next up we have Chicago Bears at New York Giants. Chicago +6, over under at 38.5. And if you're betting on the Bears, +200. If you're betting on New York, -240.
I'm sorry, what was the line again? Jets minus
240.
no,
-6.
spread -6. Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, Jets are at home with that killer defense, and
Justin Fields is going to be a game time decision, so we don't know what's going on there.
Here's the thing. I really like Justin Fields. If I am the Justin Fields owner, I am worried
Mm-hmm.
this week. I am worried. Like, Justin Fields has been amazing in this stretch because he has run the ball so effectively.
Yep.
And if he's hurt and they want to take it easy and make sure he doesn't get too many hits,
but
in
it's
this
a
thing,
shoulder injury.
That's what I'm saying. So they
They
don't.
might just tell him to slide.
Oh, no. Like I think if he alters his game, like this is what he had to do to be good. Like this is Justin Fields' game, and now if they have to alter it to like get by for a couple weeks because of an injury, I just don't see it going well. I think this is going to be bad. I think the Jets are going to roll, even though they've got was it Mike White in there as a quarterback now over your boy.
Yeah, Zach.
Zach Wilson.
He was just, he got too close to the sun. And he just
He had those 2 or 3 good flashes, and then just went to his head.
went too hard on the MILF banging, I think, during the bye week. Didn't focus enough on the Patriots defense. Yeah. And the Jets offense looked really bad. But because it's interesting, so anytime that it's been someone other than Zach Wilson in the last 2 years, the numbers have been really good for Jets receivers. So, you kind of
So this might be a week that you're starting Garrett Wilson.
Air it up,
I don't
air it
know.
up.
I don't know if I could start anybody else receiving wise
I
for the
can.
Jets. Who?
And we'll talk about it.
All right. So I was like, Garrett Wilson's the only one that I see.
So, yeah, we can just talk about it now, I guess. Denzel Mims looks awesome.
Okay.
Like he's been playing a lot. He's been getting the second most snaps behind Garrett Wilson.
Isn't Corey Davis coming back this week though?
I don't know, but I honestly don't care.
Oh, he looked good in that offense.
He's
man,
fine
at the beginning of the year.
But
Like,
Denzel Mims is the freakiest athlete of the wide receiver core, for sure. Like I think,
Really?
yeah, I think Garrett Wilson is ultimately the best receiver, but like Denzel Mims has some like DK Metcalf to him. Like he can run, he can jump, he's huge. He's like 6'3", 230. Like he's a big dude, and Zach Wilson has been going to him a lot. Numbers don't look great because,
Zach Wilson.
It's been Zach Wilson, but damn you, Zach, make me look like a fool.
Yeah, you didn't look good on that call, brother.
Hey,
But you would have looked great if he panned out.
Sure.
Chicago side, you're going to start Montgomery.
I'm not excited about that. I'm not because
No, I wouldn't be excited either, but-
like if Justin Fields plays, yes, he's an auto start. I think if Justin Fields doesn't play, I don't think he's an auto start. I think he becomes more like a running back 3, so he's like more like a flex.
Depends on your options on your team, yeah.
You'd hope,
but most
though,
teams that have Montgomery
based on where
start him.
based on where Montgomery was waffling all season long, like if he was like your RB2 all season long, then yeah, this
might
is
have
no
been
question.
able to,
You're
yeah.
just starting him. But like if he kind of floated into your RB2 because of opportunity and what
Yeah.
Justin Fields was doing the last couple weeks, you might be able to just sit him this weekend and play.
Yep, you might want to put that other option in your flex.
Yeah, like who might that have been? Like what's it like Najee? Najee might like
okay, yeah,
could
I
easily- you could-
guess.
you
I don't know. I think that's an extreme. I think
you
it would
could
be
have
more
easily-
like Cordell Patterson or
I'm just saying you could have easily had Najee and Montgomery on the same roster and been looking at Montgomery as a guy you'd play over Najee, and so like this, and I would definitely this weekend play Najee over Montgomery.
yeah. Najee's been getting some juice there. He's been looking better. All right, I think that sums up that game. I think we're all on the Jets on this one.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna take my Jets.
Ray, any
Jets is fine.
any crazy lone wolves over there?
The next game is really good. I think there's gonna be some disagreements in the next game. I think.
Good.
So next up we have the Bengals at Titans. Okay, yeah, Bengals at Titans -2.5. If you're betting on the Bengals, 43.5 is over under, and -145 for the Bengals and +125 for the Titans.
All right. Yeah, no, this is going to be a fun game. I have the feeling you're on the Bengals side and I'm on the Titans side. And, I'm not going to disappoint you there.
Yeah.
I think
Get
that
lone wolf this one then.
there you go. Ken gets the lone wolf.
Sweet.
Titans are they just find a way to get it done. And yeah, I mean, they are kind of a pass funnel defense, and so it does look like Burrow is going to have a nice game. So
Jamar Chase should be back for this game.
they talked about maybe, and if he is back,
If you
he's
if
probably
you listen to
more of a
if
decoy
you listen
than
to
anything
Jamar
else.
Chase,
Well, okay, listen to the player, whatever.
Yeah, I usually do.
Oh yeah, the players. I'm gonna be great. Yeah, okay. No, but Jamar Chase, like I wouldn't want to start him this week in fantasy if he plays. To me, he's gonna be more of a decoy if he's out there. That's like not somebody that I'm looking towards if I can help it. I would be looking towards Higgins. Boyd, I think, is a decent start. Actually, Boyd is probably a pretty good start. Even if Chase is in there, because like I say, I really think Chase is going to be more of a distraction than anything else.
No Joe Mixon.
And yeah, that's right. That's for sure. No Joe Mixon. So P Ryan is starting.
Samaje P Ryan. Samaje P Ryan is on your waiver wire.
So you could start P Ryan if you wanted to, but I wouldn't want to here because that is a really tough.
He's going to get a lot of work.
He's going to get volume.
He'll catch 5 passes.
And he'll probably carry the ball 18 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at a guy that's going to get 23 touches.
Like if you had Joe Mixon,
Yeah.
you
And he might fall into the end zone. You never know.
Him. I'm just saying, like,
But-
I'd start him over quite a few guys. To me, Samaje P Ryan's the top 20 start this week.
And I'd probably put him more top 25, top 28. But I mean, we're arguing over semantics there, just small things.
Yeah, I think you're starting him, whereas you think he's more of a fringe start.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
on the other side,
Burks.
Traylon Burks looks awesome.
He's starting to come back again. He showed some flashes at the beginning of the season. He kind of disappeared. I think he got hurt in there too, and all of a sudden he's like,
If he's available, he's worth picking up.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
I mean,
he shouldn't. Like, I don't think he should be on the waiver wire anymore.
Yeah, he should be on a bench, and you should be checking it out to
Yeah.
see how he does. You might even be able to throw a start in there if you had to, but not looking to.
Tannehill has been awesome. Actually.
Yeah, Tannehill's been
I shouldn't say
looking really good.
awesome because he's not like Tannehill has been start worthy the last few weeks. Like, he's just kind of getting it done. Like,
He's been a Garoppolo.
He's been just a tick better than Aaron Rodgers. You know, the last few weeks. So you can start him if you need to start a quarterback this week. Like, if Justin Fields is your guy and he goes down, Tannehill's probably available in your league. You can probably pick him up and start him. It's not a bad start. They're going to be down, I think. I think they're going to have to score points. And the Bengals have been they have given up points. So they just give up 30.
Titans at home, that, like I say, they just find a way to get it done. And that defense has been putting it together.
I think this is going to be kind of a high-scoring game. I think
it could be.
I think it's going to be similar to that Pittsburgh game.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was a low-scoring game. Like, this is a really hard game to predict, in my opinion. But I really like Vrabel, and I really like Titans. So there you go.
And I like the Bengals and Joey B. Joe Cool.
Oh, put me up there if you don't mind there, Ray. Under your name for the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Allies.
That's going to be a point against Ken. I don't want to forget that one.
Bengals lone wolf. All right.
That feels good.
Next up, we got Atlanta Falcons versus Washington Commanders. The Falcons are at +4. The over/under at 40.5. If you're betting on the Falcons, +165. If you're betting on the Commanders, -195.
Is it just me, or does it feel like the Commanders are starting to put things together a little bit? Like,
I'm
all
going
of
to
a
pick them this
sudden-
week.
Yeah, I am too.
The defense looks good.
The defense looks good, and the offense looks serviceable. You know what I mean? Like, good enough. Gibson looks good. McLaurin looks great. Heineke looks okay.
Okay. Taylor Heineke looks okay. He is gonna give up 2 to 3, opportunities for interceptions, just golden opportunities for interceptions a game. It seems like, because even last week against Houston,
Yeah, he's been doing it.
it just seems to be what he does. But the running backs look great.
Well, I wouldn't say running backs. Brian Robinson has been kind of.
Based on what they ask him to do, I still think that he looks really good. They ask him to make tough yards, and he always seems to take 2 or 3 guys to tackle him. Like, he just has guys all over him whenever he goes to the ground. It seems like every time. So I kind of feel like it's just a matter of time before he has a game where he just busts a couple.
He just had one of those bad Derrick Henry weeks where he got bottled up. And
Yeah.
now he's going to do his mini
It's just
Derrick
that-
Henry and
yeah,
break
it's just
out next week.
His bad Derrick Henry weeks are 15 for 57 instead of 25 for 87.
Right.
So, I think he looks good. Like, when he's running the football, like, if you need to get a yard, he'd be among my top choices to do that.
Okay.
Logan Thomas has been sneaky, getting more work lately.
He has, but I mean, he's just like
And
blipping onto the
him
radar.
And,
He's
him
not
and
somebody you wanna
Heineke,
start.
him and Heineke have history together. They've played together in
remember last year
the
and
same
stuff.
offense for a while. Heineke's been there for 3 years now.
Yeah, no, I get it,
And
but I'm just saying that Logan Thomas isn't going to be much.
He
this
had
year.
end zone targets. I'm just saying. Like,
Tight ends suck, so he has to be on your tight end radar. I agree with
Yes,
that. I
that's-
agree with that.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
I said radar. I didn't
Yeah.
say
Don't-
go get
don't-
Logan
don't
Thomas
start
and
him,
start him. I
but
didn't
yeah,
say that.
okay.
Like Kyle Pitts just got put on IR.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of people that are pivoting on tight end this week.
That's true.
I had Kyle Pitts in a lot of spots, so that's why it was on my mind. That
if you're desperate.
guys that are available are like Logan Thomas, Juwan Johnson, Robert Tonyan, and of those 3 guys this week, I would rather start Logan Thomas. I'd rather start him than Juwan Johnson against the 49ers this week. I would rather start him than Robert Tonyan against the Eagles this week.
That's fair.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. And then on the other side, the Falcons. I mean, you don't really want to start anybody.
Literally
Patterson.
nothing. Literally
Patterson,
nothing.
Maybe. I mean,
maybe, but he's
flex Patterson.
They've split enough of his work that it's like, because if Patterson doesn't get the 20 plus carries, he doesn't put up those numbers. He scored. There was the first game that he came back. They played against the Chargers, and he scored 2 fluky touchdowns. And I think he vultured one of them from Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
And but he only had 12 touches. And so I don't know. I don't trust anybody from the Falcons offense right now.
And the Commanders defense has been playing better. So.
Yes, exactly.
So we all going Commanders then?
Yeah, we're all
to
going
me,
Commanders.
I think that Drake London is like a sneak. It's like I think he still costs too much to be like a sneaky dart throw.
Oh, in DFS?
Yeah, because he's
Okay.
still like 5,000, 4,800, 5,000 or something like that. But in a cash game, he could be worth your while because it doesn't take much for him to do it. With Kyle Pitts being out, there's going to be less targets.
But you can't go cash with him because, I mean, he could goose you. He could do nothing.
I don't think that's
that
going to happen.
Falcons offense. Probably
with
not.
the lack of Kyle Pitts.
But it
and,
could.
And the Commanders have been susceptible to wide receivers this year.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there. That's not where I'd want to be.
But that's the other possibility. in the
That
game.
is the other possibility in the game.
That's fair. All right.
And the Commanders are going to win.
There you go. See, look
Next-
at that. We're on time, producer.
Yeah, we're starting to kill it, Aaron. Chargers at Cardinals. Chargers are at -2.5. Over under at 48.5. You're betting on the Chargers -145, and if you're betting on the Cardinals +125.
Justin Herbert is going to have his best game this week.
I hope so. If not, I mean, my God, what's going on? I mean, he's finally got Allen back.
Mike Williams
Mike
gonna
Williams
miss,
is out.
But
now he's
Josh
got
Palmer
Palmer,
looks
on
awesome.
the other side.
And DeAndre Carter looked good too.
And we have to bring this up. The Arizona defense, they tend to lock down the number 1 wide receiver.
Yes, agreed.
And the number 2 tends to go off
So
a little bit.
So I think Palmer's going to
So
have a great
Palmer
game.
is a very sneaky play this
I'm
week.
with
If
you.
you've got him on your bench, try to fit him into your lineup somehow. I think I've got a feeling that he's going to have a heck of a game. Arizona side, I mean, let's see. Oh, and also Chargers. Who is that? Everett. I mean, start Everett because the Cardinals defense is the absolute worst against the tight end. I mean,
the analysis from the footballers this week on how the Cardinals cover tight ends was very 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 funny.
the 5 worst of all time is Cardinals, 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 and then somebody else. That was hilarious.
So I think the Chargers are just going to cook the Cardinals this week, like especially coming off that tough loss against
Agreed.
Kansas City. I think they're going to smash the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I think they need to if they're going to make any kind of run towards the playoffs. If they're going to show who they are, I mean, they got.
And I still think they are. I still
I
think they're the
I do too. I
second
think
best
they're a
team
good
in that
team.
division. Yeah.
I think they're a good team. See here, Connor, you can start if you need to, but
Oh no, definitely
try
start
not
James
to.
Conner. No. Disagree.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, why?
disagree.
Just because the Chargers have been a little.
They kicked Eno Benjamin out of town, so all the work is back to being Connor's, and he looks pretty good. And the Chargers have been bad against running backs.
Let me look up Connor real quick. I want to see what he did the last couple weeks. It feels like he didn't do much the last
I feel
couple
like it was
weeks.
like 18 PPR points last week.
RS German wants to let us know that he traded Pierce and Olave for Chase.
Here's I like that.
I like
for
that
this year.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
if you're running into the playoffs, I like that.
Yeah,
a
you're
lot.
going into the playoffs. You want that monster. I like that.
He actually said likely got to buy it for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, dude, great trade then. Yeah, that's what you need to be doing, is upgrading it where you can. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I like Connor a lot. So in that game, that was on Monday night. It was kind of rainy. The Cardinals were out of it kind of early, and they gave up really fast and put in reserves.
And he still scored 13 against San Francisco.
Keontae, and that's without playing the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He didn't play at all in the fourth quarter.
Okay, you're right. He was better than I thought he was.
So
yeah, start Connor.
James Conner to me. So I just in the ESPN league I have with my coworkers, I just traded Alvin Kamara at the deadline and got Montgomery and Connor.
Okay, I mean, hopefully you're going the other way and trading for to get
So-
the big talent, but there are definitely situations
And you
where you
say
need to
that,
go the other way.
and you say that, and I think that we are going to eventually see Jameis.
Okay.
And when we see Jameis, Kamara isn't that supreme fantasy talent anymore because Jameis just doesn't. He doesn't want to.
I have a strong feeling
the ball down.
If I had to place a bet, I would bet that Jameis does not see the field again this year. I think they're resting him. I think that he has a broken back. They're
It's his foot now. Remember I told
but
you.
he's still got the spine going on. No, I think he's out for the year. I
They're
really
saying,
do.
They're saying that the word out of New Orleans now is that he won't be healthy for the rest of the year because of his foot, not his back, his foot.
But still,
So
I think that he will be
I don't know.
back
So
up for the rest of the year.
I don't know what's going on out of there.
You're
but-
allowed to have your theories on this show,
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah, fantasy football theories, and my theory on and my theory on that is that I do believe that Jameis is going to be back, and Kamara already has been like faltering lately, and I do think I think personally that Montgomery and James Conner are going to outscore Kamara the rest of the way.
Wow, how do we put that on the board?
Go ahead.
Yeah, just against both of like one Kamara versus both
Individual bets. both of
individual Kamara against
them. Yes.
Yeah,
So two bets. Okay. What up? What a busy. Where were you last week, man? We were missing you, dude. We're missing you.
So
We
you
did
heard
a
that.
tribute to What a Busy next
I would
last
take
week and
both
missed it.
David Montgomery and James Conner over Alvin Kamara rest of the season. When I was offered that trade, I couldn't believe it. And it happened to be, it was week 11. So this just happened, and I had Ken Walker and Travis Etienne that I had buys, so I had running back spots to fill. And if anybody was curious, both of those guys outscored Kamara last week.
That's Montgomery and who's your other one?
Connor. Connor. James.
I'll go ahead and read the next step. Let's see here. We have a game I'm kind of curious about. Let me just find their odds here.
Raiders and Seahawks.
Yeah. Raiders against the Seahawks. Raiders are at +4. The over-under at 47.5. If you're betting on the Raiders, you're at +170. You're betting on the Seahawks -200.
All right. Well, this is going to be an interesting game, in my opinion. A lot of it is because I really thought the Seahawks defense was really picking it up and going to be amazing. And they kind of faltered a little bit the last week or two, but actually I think there was a bye in there too. But I just want to see if the Seahawks defense is what I thought they were, which is getting to be elite. So I'm curious to see that. And I think the Seahawks offense is going to roll. I mean, I love Ken Walker here. I love both wide receivers here. Raiders defense has been giving it up to everyone. So start your Seahawks for sure. Raiders, Josh Jacobs seems to always be a good play because he's just getting the work right now. I would be thrilled about him in this matchup, but I mean, you're definitely starting him. And then wide receiver wise, I mean, it's just Adams. And he's been scoring, 30 points for the last 2 or 3 weeks. just seems ridiculous because, I mean, he's getting like half of the target share, and it doesn't seem like that's sustainable. But
it's not that; it's the touchdowns. I want to say he has got like 7 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks.
wow.
It's crazy. I need to look it up right now, but I know he has multiple games with 2 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks.
But yeah, but besides those two, oh, and I'm sorry, I almost forgot the island of Foster Moreau here. Like, you have to start that tight end this week if you're having in tight end hell. If you're having problems, like Moreau is this week against Seattle, who is the second worst team in the NFL against the tight end. Like the Cardinals and Seahawks, you want to start your tight ends against them. I really like Moreau has a floor of 7 points and a ceiling of 20 here, so you never know. I mean, I expect around 12, 50 yards and a touchdown, but it just seems like he's in a place to eat here.
The Seahawks have been horrible, just like Arizona against tight ends. But yeah, I'm weary of that one because he isn't going to anybody but Devontae Adams
Right.
and Josh Jacobs right now. Those just seem to be the only 2 people that he trusts to go with the football. And it's 5 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, by the way, for Devontae Adams.
Not bad. Bad.
That's the number. And before that, he had that game where he had the flu.
Yeah.
So, on the other side, it's interesting. One of the most consistent players this season has been Tyler Lockett,
Which is weird
because his whole career, the Tyler Lockett experience has been
He's
gonna give you 3 touchdowns every month. You just don't. They could all be in 1 week, and I mean that seriously because he scored 10 touchdowns a year.
This is my tournament game.
Throughout his career. It's a good one that you're stacking in. This is a good one to stack in. I like this too. I was going to say this is my second favorite game of the week. Like the Buccaneers Browns is my first one to play both sides fantasy wise, and this is my second one for sure. And so I think Tyler Lockett is an excellent play in cash lineups. Like he's obviously an excellent play, in season long. He has 2 games all year, 2 weeks all season, where he's had less than 11.5 PPR fantasy points. 2.
That's fantastic for a wide receiver,
Especially
one that's not
such a good
elite.
floor.
You know
Yes,
what I mean?
No, someone who's not considered elite. That's
Exactly.
such a high floor.
So, yeah, it's good. I'm taking the Seahawks here. I think they're going to start
too.
rolling, man. I like that defense. I want to see what it's going to do, and I love me some Ken Walker, man.
Yeah, I expected them to lose to Brady and the Bucs last week, but I think they get back on track this weekend.
There you go.
Excuse me, not last week. The week before they've been off. Moving on.
All right. Next up, we have Rams, Kansas City.
So we're all picking the
Game of the
Chiefs?
week. Oh.
Rams at plus 15.5. The over-under at 41.5. If you're betting at the Rams, plus 800. And if you're betting on the Chiefs, minus 1250. That might have been the biggest I've ever read.
Oh
ever.
my god! Like, has a former Super Bowl champion, like the next year,
It's the worst
ever
start.
been?
It's actually the worst start.
Have they ever been a 15-point underdog?
This is the
next
worst
year?
start through
That
10
is
games.
insane.
It's tied for the worst start through 10 games in Super Bowl history.
Yeah. And honestly,
Heard about that.
Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. So-
and honestly, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm not that sad. I mean,
That's
it sucks
it's
for
funny.
this year.
It's funny.
It's funny because I'm
But you
really
sold,
not that.
yeah, you
the-
sold out
the
for
person-
last year, man, and you freaking got it.
The person,
you got it.
The person
Like,
who brought up that statistic, that's basically exactly what they said was like, and if I'm a Rams fan, yeah,
cool, fine.
Let me look back at
we
back
got
upon my
we got
Super
a
Bowl.
ring, mofo. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this week they're gonna get crushed. Like, this is gonna be ugly. Like, so yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what the point spread says, 15.5 points. I mean, my God.
Yeah, it's-
so you're starting everybody Kansas City. But
And by the way, it's week 12, and this was supposed to be the year. So this is supposed to be the year that the AFC West finally goes to somebody else. Russ went to Denver. The Chargers loaded up on defense. The Raiders got Devontae.
Yep.
And here we are in week 12, and the Chiefs are 8-2.
Oh, yeah. It's
Shocker.
good to have Patrick Mahomes, isn't it?
Yes, that Mahomes guy. And Kelsey.
Yeah. Mahomes and Kelsey,
Mahomes-
and honestly,
Mahomes
I
and
said start
Kelsey.
your Chiefs, but really your Chiefs are
Mahomes and
Mahomes,
Kelsey.
Kelsey,
And Pacheco.
And Pacheco.
I don't love him in this matchup.
No, but
But they're going to be ahead. So
Yeah,
I just
he's
I
gonna get
expect him
15 to 16
I'm thinking
touches
20.
in that
I'm thinking he's
offense.
going to run the ball 20 times.
yeah. So, but any of those receivers out there,
The thing
if
is, like,
Juju's back,
so here's
maybe,
the thing: is
but other than
I
that,
expect that he's going to run the ball 20 times, but the Rams' defense, the rush defense, is stout enough that I still think that the touchdowns are going to come through the passing game. So I expect Pacheco to have 20 carries and not score any rushing touchdowns this week.
20 carries, 80 yards,
just-
something like that.
And not even the yards could be good. The yards could
Yeah.
be 100 plus. It's just that if he doesn't score a touchdown and he doesn't catch passes, and I don't expect him to do either of those things this weekend, I don't think he's a very strong play. Those are my thoughts on Pacheco this weekend, and I do love him. It's just that
But I mean, like if you've got him in fantasy football, you're
I do in a lot of
you're probably
spots. I
starting-
do
that's
in
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
spots.
You're probably starting
I
in
have
your
him in
flex.
Dynasty, and I'm here. For instance, let me bring up in Dynasty who I'm going to start over Pacheco.
Okay.
Give me a second.
All right.
Joke's on these guys because Bryce Perkins is going to go in there. He's going to get a bunch of first downs with our legs. Keep Patrick Mahomes off the field with a little bit of help with Aaron Donald,
So
and we're going to win.
I chose to
There you
start,
go. That could happen.
This
It is in the
NFL.
realm of possibilities.
I have
But I would start the Kansas City defense.
in my flex in Dynasty, because I have Zeke and I have Barkley in my running backs slots. In my flex, my options are Chris Olave or Pacheco, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney. And I went with Olave. I'm going with a lot.
Yeah, well, that's your only other choice. The Saints are going to. Oh, dude, I'd take Pacheco.
And see, I disagree.
See, Olave, and
I
like
disagree.
I see why you're like it's definitely an interesting choice. But then I see Olave
Because
going against San Francisco.
We're
and I'm
talking
just
about
like,
PPR.
mm.
We're talking about PPR.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Pacheco is going to score.
Okay.
That's all. I don't think he's going to score. And there's going to be no reason for him to catch passes because they're going to score a lot of points. I think he's going to be successful running the football, but successful running the football could be him getting 80 plus yards in the first half, them scoring 4 touchdowns and none of them being him.
It's possible. I don't know. That
Because
seems like a weird line to me, but
they're so good. The Chiefs are so good inside the red zone at scoring touchdowns, and one thing they haven't been doing is pounding the rock. That's just not how they've been scoring touchdowns.
but they got a new kid running the ball, so you never know. And just on the other,
I
side,
would love to see that happen for my dynasty team.
right. But and for the Rams, I mean, is there anybody we can start here?
In fact, dude, I respect your opinion so much. I'm gonna make that switch. I'm gonna start Pacheco over Olave. Okay,
Hey,
I'm gonna do that.
Don't blame me next week.
I'm not gonna blame you. No, but I'm gonna do that.
No, I appreciate that.
All right. So where are we at now? We all
Yeah,
picked
well,
Chiefs? Yeah.
the only thing was, is there anybody? Ray Lone Wolf, the Rams. There, he has
My
hope.
team.
Hey, let's take a shot for Ray and his games, okay? Where's the tequila?
Break it out.
Yeah, let's get some Don Julio.
Ooh, the Don, very nice.
to say a sayonara to the Rams season.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't think there's anybody you can start on the Rams this week. Is there?
Hey, Van Jefferson.
Bryce Perkins. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't
No
do
way.
that. I wouldn't do that.
You can do that. You can do it, everybody.
Like I said, no, I do like Van Jefferson. And how you watched the game last weekend, right?
Yeah.
How do you look?
I think he looked good.
Did he?
looked good.
Did you feel like they
I
were?
don't think any of that was really his fault, as far as that goes. And they just didn't throw that much, really, to get a good base on anything, right? Because as soon as
And that's what I'm kind of worried about. That's why the only reason I kind of want to stay away from him is until Stafford comes back.
I think,
Is that I think Bryce Perkins is going to take off a lot. I think he's going to run the ball a lot.
yeah.
Because I watched him play in preseason a couple of times. I'm like, oh, this guy can play, and but he likes to run.
All right.
A lot of running quarterbacks.
I think he's an interesting play in tournaments this weekend for DFS.
Yeah, possible tournament play. Yeah,
All right,
get that
everybody.
dart throw out there.
This
To
is
the Rams.
Ken's,
To the
Ken's
Rams.
talking shit bet.
How sweet it was.
All right.
Next up, we have New Orleans Saints at the Niners. Yeah, New Orleans Saints at the Niners. Saints +9, over under at 43, +300 on if you're betting on the Saints, and -365 if you're betting on the Niners.
49ers going to score 50 in this game.
15.
50.
And like I say, I am on the Niners.
They
at
look
this
so
point.
good.
The Niners look
They look
great.
so good. That rainy field kind of slowed them down on Monday night, but they look so good.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to be a tough one in the NFC.
I can't wait to see Cowboys 49ers.
Honestly, at this
Serious.
point, I think the Niners are my pick to go to the Super Bowl on the NFC side. I think actually I said that a couple of weeks ago.
I think I picked it before the season started. I think I also predicted that Jimmy Garoppolo would be the starting quarterback. That's out there on social media. Hey, anybody that wants to look it up, said it in August.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't sound outrageous to me.
But
at
I
all.
also picked the Bills on the other side, and that one doesn't look nearly as good. But Josh Allen is pretty awesome.
I was going to say it's too soon to tell there. Like
I agree.
they don't look like the super team they did 5 weeks ago.
The
but they
AFC
still
doesn't
look great
look like
and
the-
can turn into that super team. I think.
The AFC still looks like it's figuring itself out, whereas the NFC, the cream seems to be rising to the top a little bit.
I do agree with that.
And the 49ers are part of that cream.
Yep.
They are.
So start all your Niners. I mean, it's Debo, it's Ayuk, it's
I think this
McCaffrey,
is another.
it's
We predicted
Kittle. It's
multiple 40-point games when McCaffrey
Yeah.
got traded to the 49ers. We got one already. I think this is another one.
yeah, very could be. Saints side, like I say, you can start Olave, but it's you just got to temper your expectations a little bit against the Niners.
The Saints are.
Kamara, you got to start. But even then, I have Kamara in quite a few places. I'm not thrilled about him this week.
No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not thrilled about him rest of the season because he just I think the Saints are taking on water, and they're starting to build up on injuries on the defensive side.
Who did they play last week?
They just played you guys.
Yeah.
I thought we played Arizona.
That was 2 losses ago.
Was it?
Yeah, they just played you guys, right? That was the Rams and
That
Saints.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mess that
Okay.
up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. All right. Yeah.
Here's something that
I don't expect the Saints to be able to stop the 49ers at all.
Here's a prediction that I have for the Saints, and I think that Taysom Hill is going to get a lot more involved. Now that the coach came out and said a little bit of that, but I think it's going to be even more than that. Like I think Taysom Hill is going to be a major part of this offense. They're 4-7 at this point, and Taysom Hill looks dang good when he's out on the field, man. He does some amazing things. So
He's one of my favorite players to watch. He's an awesome
I'm
football
telling
player.
you,
I've
so
been saying that all season.
He's an awesome football player.
I have him in a couple of my leagues as my tight end now, and I think he's going to be a cheat code for the rest of the year. Like I am serious. Like I'm excited about having him as my tight end for the rest of the year because he is going to put up some freaking.
I'm gonna
points.
see how many. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Let me see if he's available in my ESPN league because I have Kyle Pitts in it.
Oh God, yeah, it'd be all over Taysom Hill there. Yeah, no, Taysom Hill is going to be really good going forward, guys. If you can get him in your lineup, I definitely would. But even this week, because like I said, he's going to get opportunities.
He is available. I'm picking him up.
Oh,
right now.
dude, grab him. Yeah, as a tight end, he is going to just be a cheat for the rest of the year, is the way I see it.
He's
So we'll see.
as a tight end. He's listed as a tight end.
Yeah,
He can play
but
tight end or quarter. Oh, only tight end right now, actually, in
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yep.
Interesting.
even though he's spending a lot of time at quarterback. He's getting right. The last game, I think he got eight snaps under center, and I think he's going to get more than that. And if you're getting that as a tight end, like my goodness, like that's feels like cheating. I'll take it. So, but yeah, we're all taking the Niners.
Dropping Logan Thomas, picking up Taysom Hill.
Good call, brother. Good call.
I do agree with that one. Starting Taysom Hill over Logan Thomas. I agree with that
Yep.
totally. So we're gonna do. That's gonna feel good. I have yet to watch Taysom Hill do his thing and be able to cheer for it.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean. Usually it's happening against me.
Yeah, it's funny because Taysom Hill, he was great for a couple of weeks, and then he had those 2 really bad weeks, and they just weren't utilizing
Uh-huh.
him. And so
He was hurt.
He got dropped
'Cause
all over
he
the place.
He gets little injuries here and there. Like you see him like almost every play. Something
so I
happens to
snapped him up everywhere I could, man. I'm looking forward to it.
That's fun. That's fun stuff.
All right, where are we at
So-
now? Here?
So next up, we have Green Bay Packers at Philadelphia Eagles.
And we all picked the 49ers on that last game.
Yes. Packers are at plus 6.5. Over under at 46. Plus 245 if you're betting on the Packers. Minus 295 if you're betting on the Eagles.
And we all picked the Eagles here, right?
Nope.
No. Here's another. Dude, Ken is all about the Lone Wolves this week, man.
That's
I
only two.
think that's 3, isn't it?
That's 2.
Yeah, you
Okay.
jumped off the. You guys were going to pick the Panthers, and you both jumped onto the Bronco boat.
Oh,
Remember,
that's right.
that was fun.
Yeah.
I was always going
was
to
an
pick the
experience.
Broncos.
Yes, that was an experience.
I was always going to pick the Broncos. I just messed up on where I was putting everything. Because they've got more rest.
Yeah.
That's why I see it. Because they're both terrible. So I was like, which one's got a little bit more sleep?
All right. So, all right, Ken, explain yourself.
Well, I mean, if the Packers lose this game, they'll basically be eliminated from the playoffs, right?
Okay, I would say
Okay.
they are already, but go ahead.
I don't know.
Mathematically, you're saying
10-7, I think gets in.
So if they run the table,
I don't think so. When I picked the Giants to have more wins than the Dolphins, I don't think that means the Giants win more than 10 games.
Wow. Okay.
So now, and they don't hold a tiebreaker with the Giants. That'd be bad for them if that was the situation they got into. But, and I haven't looked enough at the schedule to like make a Nostradamus like prediction, on who they're going to get tied with or whatever. But I think 10 wins will probably get them in. It'd be really interesting if a 10-7 team didn't make the playoffs.
I
So-
think there's going to be at least one 10-7 team that doesn't.
All I was
ahead.
going to say is, well, so far we've had 9-8 teams be the last two.
Last year was.
seven seeds.
I was thinking 9-8 then. My apologies.
So anyway, a 9-8 is iffier for them.
Oh, very iffy.
Right. So when was the last year that Aaron Rodgers completed, meaning he didn't, he wasn't injured, that he didn't make the playoffs?
Oh, has there been any? I mean, not
Ever?
since he's been starting, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the first year.
I'm not ready to. You make that call. Go ahead.
I do.
I
I'll put it on the board.
You make that call. Go ahead.
You want to blow more on it?
Aaron Rodgers doesn't make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll bow more of that.
Hold on. I want to look at their schedule real quick. But
I don't even care. I
But
don't
that-
even care
that-
what their schedule
that's
is. They're going
something
to lose. They're
that's-
going to lose 2 more games.
he doesn't even care. I care what their schedule is.
I'm telling you, they're going to lose.
He's
2 more games.
already seen it. He knows. what
They
the
are
losses
just the Packers are just not that good right now. They just do not impress me.
They've been playing better, in my opinion.
You're right, and since Watson has been back, they have been playing better.
gives them a
I will
different
agree with
element
that.
to their
You're right.
offense.
You're right about that. That it does give them a little something, but they just they have too big a
Put it on
mountain
the
to
board.
climb. All right, Bowmore on the board.
Yeah, Packers will make the playoffs.
And fantasy prospects. Did we go over that with this team? Not
Oh,
really?
I think this is going to be a fun game. I think this is it's going to come down to the end. So here's the thing that I think about this game. Like the Eagles to me could easily be 6-4. They've been a little lucky, and they should at least be 7-3. Like they should have lost last week for sure. They could have lost in Jacksonville earlier this season. I don't like. I'm impressed by Jalen Hurts and his ability to make plays, but he still. It's really funny to me. He really reminds me of Donovan McNabb, because McNabb would just suck for three quarters.
And then make some amazing plays.
And then and it's like, where was that the whole game? What I don't understand why you just figured out that you could roll out and scramble for 8 yards, like you just figured that out, and so the Eagles keep relying on stuff like that to happen. The last couple of weeks, I think teams have kind of caught up with them a little bit. They have AJ Brown's been banged up. They've had some injuries on their defensive line, on their offensive line. I think that like, had they been in the same situation, last week against the Packers, they'd have lost that game. That's what I think. So I really just I've been on Aaron Rodgers, figuring it out and getting better all season.
You've been saying it all season. I agree.
And he has started to turn it around the last couple of weeks. He still hasn't had that game where you go, okay, there's Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like it's now just like kind of around the corner. Like we were a couple weeks ago, we went into that Lions game, and I was just like, I don't know. Like I really don't know. But watching him like cook the Cowboys, and he did. Mm-hmm. And you've seen the Cowboys play 2 games since then, so it's not like somebody figured something out about the Cowboys and teams have just now started to hammer them in some way. Like they pummeled the Vikings, but Aaron Rodgers just roasted them, and because he's Aaron Rodgers.
And I'll say that Aaron Rodgers, honestly, I think Aaron Rodgers has looked good all year. That's what I would say.
He's been hurt too. Also, he's playing with a broken thumb.
And
on his throwing hand.
Honestly, I've seen him looking good. His weapons have just been the problem.
They're getting
all
better.
Year long.
They are getting better.
I agree with that.
I told you they
Watson,
would.
Watson makes all the difference
and they're
in the world.
going to get Dobbs back too. Like Dobbs might play this weekend,
and that's something. But Dobbs,
I think it's important.
Nothing like Watson.
You keep. I disagree with that.
Oh, dude, Watson is so much more important.
I disagree with that because here's why. Mm-hmm. I'm not like you look at Watson and he's obviously an athlete. Like he's like if you were to just look at film of him running routes and stuff like that versus film of Dobbs running routes, you'd select Christian Watson. Then you watch footage of them making plays on the ball. And I think you would probably pick Dobbs over Watson. So at this point,
Dobbs is more of your 50-50 ball kind of guy?
It's not that he's a 50-50 ball kind of guy. I think he's just like he has more of a he just knows when to put his hands up and catch the football. Watson seems to make more boneheaded drops than Dobbs does to me. But
has more talent.
He has more explosive talent.
Yeah.
I will 100% agree with that. I think Dobbs is more of a Randall Cobb kind of guy. I think he's Randall Cobb.
I would give you that.
I think he's going to be a really good slot receiver throughout his career. I do think that. So getting him back, I think, and he is a rookie, and these rookie wide receivers tend to get better in the second half of the season, and I think and
having Watson on the field will make him better.
Yes.
Because that's going to take that much more. Like Dobbs has been getting number one and number 2
I think it makes Aaron
coverage.
Jones better. I think it makes A.J. Dillon better. I think it just unlocks their offense a little
Watson
bit.
is a
We've been
huge
watching
deal.
all year long. Their offense have just been kind of clogged by their inability to make plays down the field. Receivers have run wrong routes. They've dropped passes. It's just... So that coming together,
and the funny thing is, we kind of agree on all that. And
you just didn't think it was going to happen.
I'm saying that they've got 6 games left, and they have to win them all.
And I think they will.
And I'm telling you, I don't think they can win them all. And they're probably going to win or lose 2.
I think they might lose 1.
If they go 4-2, that's good for them. And
I think they might lose 1, but honestly, I'd be comfortable betting on them running the table. He's done it before. He's done it before.
That's not something I want to bet on, but. Okay, so anyway, fantasy prospects, Eagles. I mean, you want to start A.J. Brown? You want to start Devontae Smith on the other side, I think?
Personally, I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. So I think you want to start everybody.
Okay.
And especially now with Goddard down. So I think you can just kind of auto-start Devontae Smith. Obviously, you're already starting A.J. Brown. Miles Sanders... because of like the targets they have to go somewhere, maybe Quez Watkins becomes interesting. I personally liked him going into the season, but there's just
that's a desperation start though.
It was a question.
It's not something you're looking to start.
The targets have to go somewhere. So you figure if Jalen Hurts throws the ball 30 times, right? You figure 18 of them went to A.J. Brown / Devontae Smith. Where'd the other 12 go? They got to go somewhere.
See, that's I don't know. That's kind of a straw man argument to me. Like it's possible.
But he's a good player. He's a good player. Like he's Quez Watkins is a really good number 3.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to start him this week, but you'd be wanting to have him on your bench and like.
No. I think he's interesting to look at.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
keep
an eye on him.
Okay,
keep
that's
an
fair.
eye. Yes, keep an
That's
eye on
fair.
him and see, because this is a game where the Eagles are going to have to score points. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with those extra targets that now that Goddard is gone.
Fair enough. All right.
Next up, Monday Night Football. Steelers at the Colts. Steelers are plus 2.5. Over under at 39. Money line's out plus 120 on the Steelers. And minus 140 on the Colts.
All right, Steelers are going to crush. Let's move on. No.
Oh yeah, end of story.
Obviously, this is a very close, especially with the Colts at home. This is a very close to 50-50 game.
I don't like picking this game at all.
I'm going to take the Steelers here because they are my team, and I love that defense and all.
Isn't Coach Saturday on the Colts?
Yeah, it's another reason why I'm going to take the Steelers. So
The disrespect from this man. In 2 games as head coach, he beat the Raiders on the road and almost beat the one-loss Eagles, who everybody has just steamrolling to the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Like
And-
he was. Hold on. He was a missed kick away from winning that game.
okay. And on the other side of the ball, we have
Saturday.
Mike Tomlin, Hall of Fame coach. So we were saying,
He did that with controversy, too. He did that with all that controversy, man.
I don't even. Are you kidding me? How is that a freaking question?
Well, he hasn't been to a Super Bowl in 12 years.
He hasn't had a losing season ever.
Okay, so he's very average, Jeff Fisher.
Oh my goodness!
What's up, guys?
Wow.
Need to know Rashad White
right,
or
we're the
Kamara
boxing
this
gloves.
week.
Hey,
Full PPR.
Hey, I'm just saying, Jeff Fisher went to
Thanks.
2 Super Bowls.
See, I asked your question.
Like he was 1 yard away from winning one of them.
All right. Let's get to the question before we get in a wrestling match over
Like
here.
if Santonio Holmes doesn't make that miraculous
Oh my
catch
God.
over 3 defenders, Tomlin doesn't have his 1 Super Bowl win.
I mean, God, anybody listening, please back me up on this. My God, Tomlin? Are you kidding me? Tomlin is amazing. All right, what was the question?
Need to know Rashad White or Kamara this week.
Rashad White.
Oh.
Make
Wow.
a bet. Make it. If this turns into a bet, I'm gonna be so
Oh
happy.
God, no! I will not bet this. No.
Yay!
I just like, wow, that is a tough one, dude. That is 2 people that I have pretty strong feelings about this week.
I'm so high on Rashad White this
dude,
weekend.
I am too. I love Rashad White this week.
And
but Kamara
Kamara-
is Kamara, man.
It's against the 49ers, though.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm on Rashad White. To me, that's not even really a question.
God, I'd love to see who else you could start. Like, I'd love to start both of those. Like, how can you not like fit both of those guys in your lineup? That's,
Maybe he had Barkley.
Yeah,
Maybe
if
he had
so,
Zeke.
like,
Or
good
maybe
on
he
him.
had
No,
Stevenson. Or maybe
and
you have Dalvin Cook.
Rashad
There were
White
3
is somebody
games
that you
yesterday.
picked up. So yeah,
There were 3 games yesterday, so it's very easy that people are like to me that people are having decisions like this.
I don't think I could move. Oh man.
So what? You're picking the Steelers?
All right, I'd take Rashad White there. I would. I think Rashad White's going to be that good. His matchup is that
I do
great.
too. I think he's going to be awesome the rest of the year. I really think
Yeah.
rest of season
That's a
Rashad
tough
White.
call you gotta
I
make there,
tried
bro.
so hard to get him in our league. My uncle wouldn't trade him for anything, and I tried weeks and weeks and weeks ago. I tried like week 4 to get him to get like. He had a quarterback go down or something like that, and I tried to trade him Aaron Rodgers for Rashad White when White had done nothing. He had literally done nothing, and I couldn't get him, and I was so sad. I was just,
He has CMC and Mondre.
yeah. See, he had Mondre, so he's gonna.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna start CMC, so he's gonna flex either Kamara or that's a great situation to be in.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. You're in a good spot.
Yeah,
Congratulations, sir.
So I'll tell you what.
But,
I'll tell you what. If you're in, it's really, man. You always want to make the right call, but I think that if you're in a difficult spot, like it's better to lean on known commodities than like just because like the rookie, he's had 20 carries once in his life. What like can he handle that? We don't actually know that yet. We expect him to have a really good game, but Kamara is just like he's Kamara, and
Yeah.
he's had kind of a bad month. So you kind of
And
expect,
whenever you
like,
bench
he's
your
a-
superstars,
he's
you
a-
regret it.
Like he's a powder keg, Yeah. So if you're in a you need to win, I'd probably lean Kamara. Like if you have to win this weekend in that situation, we're talking about a flex play, like because you already have two solid stars. You have Stevenson already scored you 20 points last night, and you have CMC who you expect to have a great game. So really, you're talking about the difference between like the guy that scores you 22 as a flex and the guy that scores you 15 as a flex because we expect them both to be good. I would probably lean Kamara because I would just expect Kamara to get at least that minimum if you need a win.
And I totally tough call because you got to look at White and go, look, where's his floor?
But,
God, with what's his name, with Fournette out, his floor is pretty darn high.
I
and
agree.
what's his ceiling? Well, his ceiling's got to be. Oh wait, gosh darn it, his ceiling is really high.
I agree. I agree. It's just
That is a
if I'm
tough call,
in a
man.
tough spot and I'm playing for my fantasy life, I'm probably leaning on Kamara before Rashad White. I'm probably not going to bench Kamara because I would regret it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think
I totally hear you.
I don't think I would regret benching Rashad White as much as I would regret benching Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. That's a 50-50 choice. And just because the matchup is so sweet and the ceiling, or
Now,
I'm sorry, the floor
so
is so high,
If you're 8-3,
White.
you're 8-3, you're 9-2. Start Rashad White.
Go for the glory, baby.
Yeah, because your opponent will just see that you benched Alvin Kamara for Rashad White, and
Head explodes.
yeah, and when it was the right play, they'll just be that much more scared of you.
That's true. That's true. I like it. All right. Did we have anything else over there?
Nope. He's 6-5, third place, 12-man league.
I would,
Wow.
it'd be hard for me to sit Kamara, dude. In that spot, it'd be really hard for me to sit Kamara. I really like Rashad White in the situation, but it'd be hard.
Yeah. That's a really rough spot. I think I still take Rashad White there. I really do. It's just the floor just seems so high there, whereas Kamara against the Saints could have a lower floor. That's what it comes down to me. But that's great choice to be in. I think you're going to do great either way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
And so I took the Steelers. I got my lone wolf finally. Yes. And I got to do it on the Steelers on Monday night. That's beautiful.
Hey, I didn't
Love it.
say I picked the Colts.
I just, but the way you
Oh.
were talking, assumed you picked the Colts.
I'm gonna take the Colts.
Yes. Love it.
Next up, we have the Bills at Patriots.
Move right off of that one already. Are we done? That was it? There was nothing to talk about?
Oh well.
You guys went on about 3 rounds.
Yeah, we did. Just real quick, you're starting Najee again. You can
The Muth.
start Pickens. Definitely starting the Muth.
Definitely starting to move.
Definitely starting the Muth. And on the Colts side, you're going to start Jonathan Taylor.
Pittman.
You're going to start Pittman, and you're probably going to start Campbell too.
Paris Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
So, anyway,
Yeah,
so-
I like this. So, this is one of those games where I don't think it's like there's gonna be a ton of scoring, but there's a lot of really solid fantasy starts in this game.
Yeah. And so that means that some of them are going to let you down. Just keep that in
Deontay
mind.
Johnson.
Yeah, we didn't mention
No, we
Deontay
did not
'cause
because you don't want to.
you can start Deontay, but he's only going to be worth 10 points.
Yep.
So. All right. So Bills versus Patriots. So did you announce the line on this one?
You know what? They don't have one.
There's no line on this game yet.
Not with DraftKings, and I read off DraftKings since we lead into DraftKings anyway. DraftKings has no info on them.
Interesting.
Sure. Anyway,
Yeah, it goes
Bills
straight-
are the obvious favorite. Patriots are at home. My guessing is the line is about Patriots, or I'm sorry, Bills -5 would be my guess. What do you think?
Usually in a game like this, it's right around the touchdown line. So it's either going to be 6.5 or 7.5.
Okay, that seems high for me, but right on.
Well, I think they're going to be right at the. It's going to be like I think it's going to be a touchdown margin.
Okay, yeah, somewhere in there. All right, so I mean, I'm going to take the Bills here. There's no way you're going to get me off the Bills. I think they need to win. I think they need to catch up with the other super teams in the league. And their losses have been rough ones, man. They're just like, you can see how it happened. I still think the Bills are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, and they could be the best.
That loss to the Vikings. The Vikings game was probably the game of the year. Like you heard they sent Justin Jefferson's gloves to the Hall of Fame.
After that game?
Yeah, after the catch.
No.
Yeah, that ball.
Oh,
Yes.
that amazing catch.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
That's
also,
cool.
so if anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, you should YouTube Justin Jefferson 4th and 18. It was
That was impressive.
Literally one of the best catches of all time.
Yeah. Agreed. So, Bills side, I mean, you're starting everybody you can, even though the Patriots defense has been pretty tough. Let's see. So, Singletary
Justin Jefferson just took them.
is actually probably somebody you can leave on your bench. You know what I mean? If you have better options,
They did not look
start
good
him
last
if you
night.
need to. But
They did not look good last night. The Patriots defense.
okay,
They looked like the Vikings basically did whatever they wanted to do, passing the ball last night.
but they looked amazing the week before. So it's
The Vikings. You're talking about the Vikings?
no, I'm talking about the Patriots. No, the Vikings looked
well,
awful
but
the week before.
But they were playing against the Jets the week before.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Bills are going to have a problem scoring in this game. I don't.
Okay.
Like I think it's you know what it's going to depend on weather because this is
okay. Yeah.
this is that December game between the
Yeah, New
Patriots.
England,
They should
yeah.
stop playing in December. These two teams.
Or just have a freaking dome, but whatever.
Well, neither of them are ever going to do that. And I actually think it's hard. It's hard for them to do that because of the weather. It's more difficult to build a dome stadium that will survive the weather.
They do it in Minnesota.
It's a little different.
Isn't it colder with more snow up there?
It's the storms aren't as bad because they're farther inland. They get worse storms on the East Coast.
Okay.
The winds and stuff like that.
I will take your word for it.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's anything special to talk about fantasy wise. It really looks like I talked about this before, but Ramondre Stevenson definitely has that job on lockdown.
Yeah.
Damian Harris, he's gotten less and less and less work over the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's been proven.
Yeah, so he's a handcuff. I said this last weekend. He's a handcuff now.
That's what he's become.
Yeah. So you can you auto start Ramondre Stevenson just every single week.
Anybody else on the Patriot side? I mean, Jacoby Myers. I mean, I guess you kind of probably going to start him, but other than that, there's just nothing.
No, fantasy wise, no.
And on Buffalo side, I mean, you're starting the obvious ones. You're starting Diggs,
Diggs and Allen.
and Allen. Probably starting Gabe Davis. McKenzie had a great week last week.
Yeah,
but,
you're starting Gabe Davis every week, but you know what you're getting.
Yeah,
you know,
hit or miss.
Yeah, you're going to get a game where he's 7 points or he's 25.
The old Tyler Lockett.
Yes, he's the new Tyler Lockett. Yes.
There you go.
He's going to give you a 160-yard 2-touchdown game once a month.
Yep. and a goose once a month.
Yes, and a goose once a month.
So, all right. So I mean, yeah, that was pretty self-explanatory. We all take the Bills there. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
You want to
I
take the
thought
Patriots
you
here?
may take the Patriots, but
I'm going to.
Wow.
I thought the Patriots would win last night, and they have to win this game.
So now here's the thing. For me, the Patriots feel like a slightly above average team. They're a team that
Their defense is legit.
I agree. And so they do
They
really
have
good against
so
teams that
many
are bad or not quite that good, or you know what I mean. But it just feels like against the good teams, they just get crushed. They're just not good enough. Their offense is just not good enough.
They don't. I don't see, and I disagree. I think they have some nice pieces on offense, and the Bills just lost Von Miller.
That's true.
I think their pass rush is going to take a hit, and I think if you give Mac Jones time, he'll kill you. Like and I know that sounds.
You said you'll give if you give Mac Jones time. In my head, I'm like he will pass for 6 yards.
No, dude.
You know what I mean?
Mac Jones can throw the ball. He can throw the ball. He can put the ball on the money, like in a lot of different spots. He looks good throwing the football when you give him time.
Within 10 yards.
I disagree with that. Yeah. I completely disagree with that.
All right, he hasn't shown it to me this year, but
He just did it last night. Did you not watch the game last night? You should go back and watch the game from last night because Mac Jones looked awesome. Like, he didn't deserve to lose last night.
all right.
I thought the Patriots defense let them down last night. They did not play well.
And that makes me think that New England's going to keep losing. But
So New England gets to pay 2 Thursdays in a row, huh?
Mac
That is
Jones,
weird, huh?
It's fun. He really looked to me. He looks like he does really a good impression of a young Tom Brady, because when he has a good pocket and he has time to go through from progression 1 to 2 to 3, he will put the ball on the money when he has the time to find that third progression. He's not very good on the. He's not very good when he's on the run, and he doesn't have the pocket awareness yet. But Brady didn't have it right away either.
I think he looks like a
I'm not saying, and don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying he's like Tom Brady 2.0. I'm just saying he does a really good imitation of a young Tom Brady. People who don't remember, Tom Brady played like 7 years in the NFL before he ever threw 25 touchdown passes.
To me, Mac Jones looks like a good or a second year Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? Like that's where I put him. Like
I disagree with that.
His second year, Baker Mayfield managed to do a little something. Managed to kind of get along with.
You make me want to take my headset off and walk away from you sometimes. Because, to compare him to Baker Mayfield, they're not even like they're so.
Just like when I compared Zach Wilson to Blake Bortles, I was so wrong, right?
Yeah, it still is. It still is.
Come on, man.
Blake Bortles is such a derp. And like Zach Wilson makes spectacularly
He's
bad.
known as a derp right now. Come on, man.
He's not known as a derp. He makes
Wilson.
He makes spectacularly bad plays. He does. Mm-hmm. But there's, to me, like Blake Bortles was never.
He had his moments.
No, he didn't.
He did so.
No, he didn't, dude. He has moments in the fourth quarter when they were losing by 25. That's not like
right.
and Baker Mayfield is like. I don't know. There's no way you can compare him and Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is the guy that.
Back me up out there, people.
Mac Jones, like, no, there's no way. There's no way. I don't.
I love getting under his skin. It's so much fun.
Let's move on to DraftKings.
Baker Mayfield is so bad, dude. He's so bad.
He's not that bad.
I used Mayfield as an example on purpose, but I knew that would get you.
I don't even like Mac Jones that much, but like he's so much better than Baker Mayfield is, and like he looks so much more like a professional quarterback when he drops back in the pocket than Baker Mayfield does. Like that's crazy. I feel like you don't watch football.
Oh my goodness. But yet,
I know you watch the Steelers games.
Yeah.
He said, but
all right. Let's move on to DraftKings, and
I got my lineup pulled up
excited
already.
about my cash lineup here. Yeah, are you ready to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
But doesn't somebody owe us a shot? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, I believe that's Brian. And yet,
I am so glad I'm not driving tonight.
Here,
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get you a trim on it.
Whoa. Let me. I don't want to mix tequilas now. Come on.
While there's hooking Brian up with his loser shot of the week.
Thank you.
Loser at DraftKings shot of the week.
And I just want to point out that I lost by 1 point again.
1.5 points.
Almost 1.5 points.
Hey, that's like a whole catch.
4-8.
Just brutal,
So
man.
here
Just
we
brutal.
go with my cash lineup. At quarterback, I picked Geno Smith. For running back, Connor. Jay Wilson from Miami. T. Higgins from Cincinnati. Olave from New Orleans. Waddle from Miami. Jay Johnson from New Orleans at my tight end. And as my flex, Burks at Tennessee. And I picked the Titans defense.
All right. Are you ready? You want to go next, or you want me to?
Go ahead, I'll sneak it.
All right. I will just say that my cash lineup, to me, it built itself this week. I'm going through the possible plays and the values and whatnot, and I kept going. Okay, well, I got to put that person in. I have to put that guy in. I have to put that guy in. And by the end, there was really only 2 positions I had to make choices on. I felt like.
So what he's saying is he didn't make any actual decisions this week.
Yep. It was all on autopilot because these picks were so amazing. So I'm sure I'll score under 100 again this week. All right. So starting off at quarterback, Joe Burrow.
Son of a bitch, do you really?
Of course, dude. Like I told you, some of these picks were obvious. Like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Go ahead.
The Tennessee, the defense is a pass funnel defense. Like they want Joe Burrow to throw, and guess what? With Mixon out, they want to throw this week. So there's going to be just a lot of passing yards involved. I do expect Derrick Henry to have a decent day on the other side. I think this is going to be a decently high scoring game here. All right, moving on.
10.
Running back. This is where I'm just going to tell you. I went 3 running backs, and I think they're all just obvious. Like these are the 3 you just kind of have to play. You've got Kenneth Walker at 6,900, still underpriced. Still overused. Like this guy is just like he's getting so much usage and looking so good while getting it. And he's going against Las Vegas, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. How can you not start Ken Walker? Then you've got Jeff Wilson Jr. in Miami. He's the only one getting the ball in the backfield this week, and he's going against the worst run defense in the NFL. I mean, my goodness, how could that not be an amazing day? And then down at flex, we've got Rachaad White that we were talking about earlier. Again, 31st. The Cleveland is a run funnel defense. They want you to run the ball. They're 31st in the league, and Rachaad White, like that's what he does is run up the gut. If he doesn't have 100 yards, I will be shocked. Going on to wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins this week is who I spent up a little bit on, and a lot of the other options in Arizona are out. So it feels like they have to hyper target DeAndre Hopkins, and they like to do that anyway. So he just seems like a really safe play. McLaurin for Washington also seems like a very safe play versus Atlanta with Heineke throwing the ball. Just McLaurin, he's going to be solid as long as Heineke is back there. And then I've got Josh Palmer as my third wide receiver. We talked about it a little earlier with Arizona. They're really good against the number 1 wide receiver, and they tend to be really bad against the number 2. And this is that perfect situation where Josh Palmer has really been coming on lately. And if Allen is taking the main quarterback on the other side, I think Palmer could have a really good day. Tight end, Foster Moreau. He's the he's the replacement there in Las Vegas. But he's only 3,400, and he's going against the Seattle defense, which is the 31st best defense against the tight end. And I expect him to have a very good floor. If he doesn't get 5 catches and 60 yards, that just seems inconceivable to me. He's got to get at least that, and I think he has a real high probability of getting a touchdown there. And then the defense, again, seems obvious. The Chiefs going against the Rams. The Rams, they're starting their number 3 quarterback.
He should have been number 2.
Yeah, I'm just saying it. At 2,800, Kansas City is a must start to me. So that's my cash lineup, and I feel great about this one, so I'm sure it's going to suck.
All right. Well, I mean, if it does, we'll have another close week because there's a lot.
Because there's a lot of overlap.
There's a lot of overlap here. All right. So quarterback, I also agree. $6,700. Joe Burrow is just an excellent play.
Yep.
Like just excellent. Like I don't without Joe Mixon, I don't see how he doesn't have a monster game. Like Tennessee would really have to crush them, and obviously, I believe that that's not going to happen.
Oh, Tennessee's a running game, so they might keep them off the field a little bit
if they're successful. But Cincinnati has been getting healthy on the defensive line. They were playing better before DJ Reader came back, and DJ Reader came back last week. So anyway, I like Burrow at $6,700. At running back, $5,400. I like Antonio Gibson against Atlanta this weekend. He's just been getting it done. He looks awesome. He looks like the best player on the team right now, and if not, it's a close second to McLaurin.
Thank you.
He just me personally, I think that Antonio at the running back position, he's just asked to do a little more than McLaurin does, and he looks awesome. At $5,100, Rachaad White is he's too good not to play. Then at wide receiver, I also have DeAndre Hopkins.
Thought that might be where we
$7,700.
differentiated a little.
Yeah, I thought so too. When I picked Hopkins, I was like, "There's no way he's picking Hopkins this week." But he's been getting so much work. I'm a little wary of Marquise Brown coming back this week. But even if he does, he's still not going to be 100%. He's not going to be like full go. So Hopkins should still be like peppered, pretty heavily.
And it might even help him out. You know what I mean?
Also at wide receiver for $4,800 in one of my favorite games of the weekend, I've got Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then my punt play of the week, which I'm really, really excited to see what happens, is Denzel Mims at $3,100. He's been getting targets every time.
Can you tell me his point totals the last 2 weeks? His
point totals are not good.
Oh, okay. So it's the targets that you're going off of?
Yeah, he had 6 targets in the last game.
Okay.
Let's see. It's targets in his last 2 games are 6 and 4. However, his snap count has been much higher, and those target counts are lower because the Jets have had a lot of 3
Zach
outs.
Wilson.
They've just been poor offensively. So that's a gamble. Like I said, it's a punt play.
Yeah.
But for $3,100, all he has to do is catch 4 passes.
Oh, dude, he catches 3 and you're thrilled.
Yeah. So anyway, I like that one. At tight end, I'm going to do something I typically don't do, and that's spend up. And I'll spend $7,700 on Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I thought you had to spend up somewhere. Okay. And Kelce, I mean, how can you argue with Kelce? He's been great every week this year.
That's 2 games now with 3+ touchdowns.
Yeah, any of you who spent your first round pick on Kelce and was nervous about it and just like, oh my God, I'm spending it on a tight end, like,
You've been so happy.
congratulations.
Yeah.
He's been amazing.
Yep, it's been totally worth it. In my flex at $5,900, we already talked about this. Jeff Wilson. No Raheem Mostert this week. Jeff Wilson has been awesome. We talked about earlier, since Jeff Wilson came to town, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill have both had their targets go down, and it's because the Dolphins have been more successful on the ground and more willing to run the football. So without Raheem Mostert and with the league's worst rushing defense, you just can't go wrong, it seems like. And then at defense, I'm going to start the Jets at $3,300. The Jets are just getting it done. They're forcing turnovers and getting sacks against everybody. Even if Justin Fields plays this weekend, he turns the ball over. So even in the games where the Bears have scored 30-ish points, the defense has been startable on the other side because they've given up a fumble touchdown or a pick 6 or just 5 sacks in the game and turned the ball over a couple of times.
Yeah.
So the Bears are still a good team to start against for your defense, and the Jets are just really, 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 really good. The Jets to me are like a top 5 defense right now.
Oh, they are. They are.
So that's my cash lineup.
All right.
Now
Tell us your tournament lineup. How did you differentiate here?
Move on to the tournament lineup, and like I said, I like the Browns Buccaneers game as my favorite game for points this weekend. So I'm going to go with the old man Tom Brady at $5,800 at quarterback, which it seems just super low. At running back,
and it is.
At running back, in my tournament lineup, I'm going to spend up this week $6,600 for James Conner against the Chargers.
No wonder you defended Conner.
Well, I defended him because I traded for him, and then he was awesome last weekend and proved me right. And now he's coming into this awesome matchup. Like, he wasn't even in a good matchup last week against the 49ers, and he was really good. So I think James Conner is going to have a big game this weekend. At $8,800, the most you could spend on running back, I'm going to play Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh, all right.
Because I like I said earlier, I think that the Saints are taking on water. I think the 49ers are selectively using
How much was
Christian
he, by the
McCaffrey.
way?
He was $8,800. So, which for McCaffrey seems
Is
like a
still
steal.
low, yeah.
Anytime like the rule from Christian McCaffrey has been if he's less than $10,000, you start him.
Yeah.
Like, it's been that way for several years now, and now he's in the Kyle Shanahan offense.
Yeah.
And the only question is how much they're going to use him.
Like,
Because
he's going to have some huge
He's
games.
already proven to be efficient and awesome.
But if they pull ahead by 2 touchdowns, are they going to
that's the question. And I think
ease him back? Put in more Elijah Moore.
And the Saints have, like, by hook or by crook, put up points against a lot of teams this year. They have. They have been in a lot of games. So anyway, moving on. At receiver for $6,400, I got Amari Cooper
Yep, he's at home.
to stack back against Tom Brady and Chris Godwin at $6,000, which just seems really, really low. I've also got Denzel Mims in this lineup. He's my punt of the week. He's just my favorite play. Like at $3,000, I feel like he's just. I kind of feel like he's a lock for 10 points this week, 10 PPR points.
Okay.
At tight end, probably my favorite play at tight end this week, outside of Travis Kelce, is David Njoku at $3,600. In the flex, I've got Ken Walker at $6,900, and playing a Chiefs defense in the tournament.
Yeah. And honestly, in the
then
tournament,
and so the reason, so here's my rationale behind that is in playing the Chiefs defense in the tournament lineup as opposed to playing them in the cash lineup. Now, the Chiefs are not a great defense. They have a great matchup against the Rams. So while they might be the hottest pickup for anybody who's streaming defenses this week, it's still entirely possible that they give you 2 points and give up 28 to the Rams. Like, get no sacks, no turnovers, and give up 20-plus points to the Rams and are worth nothing. Whereas the Jets are getting to the quarterback every single week. And that's how you produce points. So, like, in your cash lineup, you want the more guaranteed points. And so that's going to happen with the Jets. And then in your tournament lineup, you want the more boom bust play. So like the chance that Bryce Perkins throws a pick six or fumbles the ball or just like gets sacked in the end zone, something like that, because he's inexperienced, is more likely and it makes a better tournament play.
and let me just like jump on that here. The Jets are averaging 8.6 fantasy points a game, and Kansas City is averaging 6.1. So it's only a 2-point differential. 6.1 is actually still a pretty decent average for defense. And to have such an amazing matchup, I think that kind of overpowers that little edge.
I don't look at fantasy like outputs like points like that. I look more at the defense and their ability to force turnovers and their ability to sack the quarterback. And the Chiefs don't do either of those things very well.
But they've been managing to get that 6.1 as an average. So that means they've had some good games.
That. I'm just telling you.
It just matters. It matters. All right. My tournament lineup is actually fairly similar to my cash lineup. Like I say, there were so many picks this week that were so great that, I mean, I had real trouble moving off them. I'm going to go through all this tomorrow again and see if I can figure out some other tournament plays. But it just seems like some of the plays are just so obvious this week that I feel like I'm going to play them and probably play fewer lineups and just kind of go from there. So I went with Burrow again, and this time I stacked him with T. Higgins, which I didn't do in the cash lineup. And because I did that, I went Derrick Henry on the other side. So if we're going tournament lineup, I figured that game has to go crazy. And if that game is going crazy, then so is Derrick Henry, so is Joe Burrow, and so is T. Higgins. Jeff Wilson, I just can't get away from in that spot. We talked about it earlier. McLaurin, same thing. Palmer, same thing. I just can't get rid of that. I just can't get away from those guys. Foster Moreau is just a huge savings at $3,400. And Rashad White is amazing. And so since I fit everybody in there, including Derrick Henry, I had to go with a long shot at my DST, my defense, and I went with the Jaguars. And while they're playing Baltimore, which isn't a great matchup here, they are at home, and they are averaging 6.6. So at 2.5 as a salary, I think they're a nice savings that, might have a good floor that is good enough for what you need. And like I say, DST, you never know, you could get lucky. All right. Ray.
So I picked the Vegas Seahawks game. So I have Geno Smith at the quarterback. Hopefully, Jacobs goes from questionable to healthy, and have him as my running back. Walker from Seattle as well. Adams from Vegas. Jones from Jacksonville. So yeah, I had to squeeze in some other players there. Metcalf for Seattle. Yep. Njoku from Cleveland. Everett as my flex from Chargers, and then super punt Texans.
Ooh, that is a super punt.
Dolphins,
but you had to fit them in.
Dolphins seems like a team that might play down.
Not lately, but right on. And like I say, those tournament lineups, like you're just kind of like, to me, my tournament lineups are large field tournament lineups. So I really am trying to hit that genie in a bottle, trying to hit that amazing play that nobody else is thinking about. And if I happen to hit that along with some of the other core plays of the week, then there I am.
Very good.
One more thing I wanted to say about those defenses. The Jets have 11 interceptions this year. The Chiefs have 4. And the Jets have given up 50 less points than the Chiefs. Also, in fantasy scoring, the Jets have given or have produced 5 or less fantasy points only 3 times this year. Actually, 7. They've produced 7 or less fantasy points only 3 times this year, and all 3 of those were in the first 3 weeks of the season.
I feel like we have to go Kansas City versus Jets defense for a shot next week.
Yeah!
All right, I'm going to put it on the board. I love it. Defense bet.
You should too. You should too. Because now you get to root on that Rams offense getting Brian a shot.
You know, Perkins, the Rams have only scored 20 or more points, I think, 4 times this season. And Perkins was one of them. So, and he's just getting warmed up.
So, is that it?
That is it. We have hit every
everything?
button, answered every question. Just need to read your social media.
All right, guys. I'm Ken Bailey. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me at Ken Against the Clock on Instagram or Mr. Goodbed on Twitter. Brian is still accepting letters.
I was going to say, do you really want to hear what I think about social media? Really? Is that
P.O.
what we're
Box
doing?
Brian.
Yes, P.O. Box Brian.
And I'm Cloud Adjuster on all platforms. We will see you guys next week. Peace out, everybody.
Good luck, everybody.
See ya.
Crush it.
Thanks for joining.